Okay, Shalom Israel. Hope everybody's doing Tawab. Hope everybody had a good weekend and we went by fast as heck. For me at least. Shout out to Calcab, LA Judah in Guatemala, teaching his congregation. Shalom everybody who's tuning in with us from that side. I'm Yataza out in London. Shout out isbhpk Houston, Virginia, and Rochester, New York. Hope everybody's doing well. Zakia, Quadzap Zion, and all the men and women out there that are dedicating their life every day to work. Shout out to everybody out here in San Antonio. Hope everybody's doing well. Today we're going to go over a class, and the title is How to Spiritually Survive in Today's Digital Age. How to spiritually survive in today's digital age. One more time. How to spiritually survive in today's digital age. And it's not just about the digital influence that we face, but it's also about the myriad of distractions, the myriad of overstimulation that we face in our life. You know, listen, it's like pulling teeth to get Israel to sit down and read the Bible and focus their mind for a short period of time. I don't know if you guys notice it, the amount of effort it takes to clear your mind, lock it down, and lock it down in enough time to really get something out of the scriptures. How hard it is to, when you're driving home, how hard it is when you're going about your day to keep your mind fixated on the task at hand.
When you're being bombarded by 3-second increment digital videos, when you're being bombarded by TikTok and pop-ups,
yep.
You're being bombarded by constant stimulation.
Yes.
From the technological thousands we go to.
Yep.
For stimulation, because we can't be bored anymore. We can't have blank time anymore. It has an effect.
It's almost to the point where we can't even. That was my fault, Salakia. We can't even sit back here and read basic parchment. Listen, for how many of us have to sit back and read books on screens? The sad thing is, almost like most people that we come across, if it's not in the screen, we can't read it. Audio Bibles, images on a computer, images on a smartphone. To sit back and actually read the Bible every day, to sit back and read books, it is a damn difficult. It's a mission. But it's not just that. It's just how hard it is to lock your mind down for longer than 30 minutes before you get red eyes and get ready to go to sleep.
And people say it's ADHD, but what it is just every generation is getting worse and worse.
Listen, how many of y'all have all the intention in the world to read the Bible, and then 5 minutes later you got spittle on your damn book, and you got spit on your book and it's all crusty and it's all messed up, feel like it's ruined? Like, what the hell's going on here? These are real issues, and everything we're explaining is partially why it's hard for us to understand the Most High in Christ. It's hard for us to sit back here and really get the understanding that the Most High has intended for us. So class is going to be about that. But first of all, we want to show how our slothfulness, our propensity to be distracted is what is being exploited. Okay, so the first verse we're going to go to is Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 8. Let's read that. Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 8.
Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 8. The way of man is forward and strange.
The way of man is froward and strange. Froward means what? Disobedient. Our ways are naturally disobedient. Our ways, listen, we'll sit back here and have every intention in the world, or we say so, and we want to sit back and study. We want to get back in the book. We want to clear our mind. We want to take care of this business, take care of that business. And we look up and we get none of those things accomplished. How many times we say that to ourselves? We talk all this jazz about studying up, praying up, disciplining up. I'm going to work out. I'm going to sit back here. I'm going to eat right. I ain't going to eat no more Whataburger. I'm not going to sit back here and get weak with the flesh. I'm not going to get caught in my lust. And you look up and a day or two later, you didn't regressed. He says the way of man is froward and strange. Our nature and propensity is to be disobedient. So understanding that's the nature of man is how society and the powers that be, and scripturally the prince of the power of the air, can take advantage of those weaknesses and vulnerabilities,
which is how
in our mind.
Corporations design their technology based off the weakness of the people.
Yeah.
Just like social media is designed for women to be, to exploit the desire for attention. There's psychologists, there's think tanks that look to exploit weaknesses of people in order to have more wealth, more finances extracted from your focus, from your attention.
At the expense of our spirit.
Yeah.
So man's ways are froward, meaning disobedience.
Yeah.
Disobedient and strange, meaning just how we do things is contrary to being productive.
To the spirit, yeah.
It's to the spirit, but it's contrary to being basic productive individuals.
Yeah.
Okay? All of us say we have the greatest wisdom in the world, which we do. We have the greatest knowledge in the world, but a lot of times our application is horseshit. And we can't get past the constant inconsistency with our actual execution of the information that we have right in front of us. Okay? Read on.
Proverbs 21:8. The way of man is froward and strange, but as for the pure, his work is right.
Why is his work right? Versus regular, most man is forward and strange. What makes a man pure?
No other influence?
I'm going to say this. What makes a man pure is his execution. But because you can't execute fixing the things in yourself unless your thoughts are pure. As a man thinketh, so is he. Right? So if my thoughts aren't pure, then my execution is not going to be pure. Which means if my thoughts are froward, my actions are going to be froward. So this goes back to execution. And a man is pure. You can only determine a person's pureness by their spiritual consistency. A lot of us get caught up into listening to people's words and their big bad talk and all the grandiose things about what they are, how they enunciate, how they communicate, and people can get caught up into that. But you have to look at people's conduct, their day-to-day consistency, to determine where their purity lies. Okay? So we're going to let that verse go. We're going to jump to Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha 17 and verse 16. This is going to kind of explain why a person who executes the right thing is referred to as pure. Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha chapter 17 and verse 16.
God. Ecclesiasticus chapter 17 and verse 16 reads, every man from his youth is given to evil. Neither could they make to themselves fleshy hearts for stoning.
And we're explaining that our mind is always wired to look and to feed the negative side of us. Our mind is used to sitting back here. We look for distractions. You ever sit back here and we are the authors of our own downfall? You ever sat back here and you're doing things right and you're doing a pattern of the right thing, and all of a sudden you tell yourself you're bored? You get bored, then you look up and you're sitting a day or two later. Or you're back into bad habits, and you blame it on boredom. What does that even mean?
Too idle, essentially.
Well, it's idle, but it's the fact that we're wired for self-destruction. We're wired to self-destruct. You ever notice when things are too consistent in your life, you call it boring? Why in the world was the bad boys always the ones who were the most attractive? Because it was the fun, spontaneous stuff that enticed you. Why in the world did men choose the freak? Because it was enticing. And then what you end up doing? Oh, I got STDs. Oh, man. This nigga left me. Oh, shit. He said he loved me. He loved you at that moment. Then he stopped. That's why you keep going back into that zone. You knew he was unstable. You knew she was unstable. Why did we choose the instability?
It's not born.
I think we know it. We just read it. Read verse 16.
Didn't know that.
Every man from his youth is given to evil. Neither could they make to themselves fleshy hearts for stone.
Listen, the fleshy heart is about having consideration of somebody. And we never learned how to consider other people above ourselves. What was you gonna say?
No, say the same point. Men are looking for simple stimulation to the flesh. It's simple. I need something that stimulates my flesh. This stimulates my flesh at a higher rate. So that's how we bounce drugs. That's how we bounce drinks. That's how we bounce women. That's how brothers bounce jobs.
Yep.
Oh, this job, it's routine. It's just the same old routine. I need a bigger challenge. Okay, you get a bigger challenge, no problem. But it requires more of your focus, more of your spirit. Men like to chase quote unquote waterfalls. Men like to chase fantasies. People in general like to chase the fantasy because it's stimulating to the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
The flesh isn't just the physical body. The flesh is the ideals that are contrary to the spirit.
So we're initially just kind of laying the foundation of how we as men and women get caught up into this process of being overstimulated. We fall into these traps of being distracted.
And children are big for it.
But we're our children. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, men now, there's men that outgrow that spirit, and there's grown men, and then there's grown baby men. Because if you want to be factual, actual.
I'm gonna say this. I think we're all in our own way still children. There's some men that can sit back and pull Bible verses all damn day long, but can't control their sexual urges. But I can sit back and pull verses, or I can do other things properly, but I can't control my flesh.
Why? Why?
Well, once again, it goes into it.
Class.
Listen, the class goes into it, and it's all about what we choose to give our attention to. What we choose to give our mind to. What we choose to give our time to. Okay? And when we sit back here and when we're looking for these fleshly escapes, what is also becoming the consequence of these fleshly escapes? Listen, we're being disconnected from the spirit. So now, whether it's media, whether it's social networking, all these different, the internet. Listen, the internet was the information age was a blessing and a major curse too. We had access to information, books, information that we didn't once had, but it opened the door for so many distractions. It opened the door for so much false information too, where we get over. Listen, I don't know about you, but if you look at the internet, you can get overstimulated on the damn internet, on TikTok, on damn Twitter. You can get a burnout. All these podcasts, all this YouTube, then regular television. Then you want to sit back and concentrate your mind on the Bible.
It's a never-ending flood of.
You know how hard it is, like the internet, the television, all that stuff. It stimulates your mind to where when you sit back and it's time for you to read books, your senses are dulled. Your attention is watered down. You can sit back and binge watch Netflix for hours, but you can't read a book for longer than 30 minutes. Am I lying or not? And we wonder why we're disconnected in the spirit. Because everything on television is feeding that flesh. Feeding what's naturally wired for you to go left. And Esau understands that.
The lust of the eyes.
This is why that goes in another verse. But the scripture talks about Esau is the prince of the power of the air. What is that? Let's go to that verse. I don't have it on top of me, so. Prince, power.
There's even frequencies in those.
Ephesians 2:2.
Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2.
Read that.
Wherein in time past you walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air.
The problem is we're still, in certain aspects of our life, walking according to the course of the world, according to the prince of the power of the air. Because the prince of the power of the air is who is in control of all the social network, all the internet, all of these distractions that weaken you. Listen, how long can you go without looking at your phone? In a day. In a day. What is it? I'm not talking about phone calls. I'm just not gonna sit back here and touch my phone. How many of y'all can do that for like a week? Okay, tough guys in the spirit. Get out of here. I can do it. Okay, bro. That means computers, everything, B. Not just phones.
So how you doing research then?
Huh?
How you doing research?
Parchment. Oh, good old parchment. In libraries.
I got no books out.
I don't know what to tell you
I got
that.
no books out.
I don't know that he gonna look at four walls out. It's parchment or die, B. But you know what? You know what the crazy thing is? But read it from the top again, verse 2.
Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2. Wherein in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience.
Listen, that spirit that is corrupting your mind. Read verse 3.
Ephesians chapter 2, verse 3. Among whom also we all had our conversation in times past in the lust of the flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind.
Because this is what's happening when we sit and get caught up in all these distractions. Listen, this is really what's happening to us to this day. The prince of the power of the air is still talking about the entity that's in charge of media. Facebook. Listen, brothers can be posting, listen, with all the posts brothers be using on Facebook, are they studying as much as they posting? All the selfies on Instagram, are you reading that much? It used to be WarStar. I don't think WarStar is popping like it used to be at. But there was always something that was about mindless entertainment that would take our mind from just being clear-minded.
It's trending.
Novellas.
It's trending.
All those little shows on television. All that stuff wears at your mind. And we're not even aware of it. It wears at our mind, and it wears at our ability to stay focused in the book. Anime. You know, listen, it's like Satan, like 15-minute shows. It's like drugs. I can do 3. No, I can do 6. You know what? I'm just gonna invest into a good 2 hours and I'm shut down. And it's drugs. And all of a sudden you look up, you lost a whole week. Like anime isn't my vibe, but I've seen where there's like 300 episodes. Are you serious?
1,000 episodes.
300 plus episodes? You can forget the Bible, bro. You can forget the Bible. Yes, sir?
What if you like reading like articles and stuff like that, like on online?
I'm gonna say this,
News and stuff like that.
and my thing is this: is it getting in the way of your studies? And then, are you retaining what you're studying?
That's the most important point.
Because listen, even the way things are kind of operating online, if there's no flashing lights or something to catch your attention, you're not even going to read the whole article. How many people read the whole article versus reading a paragraph? I've got the understanding. Next button to push. All it does is it weakens your concentration levels. Yes, sis?
It's so bad to the point where when you're reading an article, it'll tell you how long it's going to take to read that article.
Yeah.
It's about 5 minutes.
It does. And then you're like, nah, I don't got 5 minutes. Hey, what are you talking about? Because I got to fish around and look for some other stuff in that 5-minute period of time. It's the truth. But what is it doing? It's watering down your ability to concentrate and focus on the things that matter. Everything in society is sped up so fast. You lose the experiences. You're not able to retain the message. The ability to meditate and ponder on concepts is non-existent. You get in the car, you got the radio. You ain't concentrating on shit when you playing some nigga music out there, man. You ain't nothing to focus on now. Your mind is degraded.
Yeah.
Your mind is, you ain't got nothing in your mind to learn, bro. It's just all, listen, you lose brain cells listening to some of these rappers out. And then you got some of this music gets stuck in your. If you like tried to study and you got songs in your head, you just can't shake it out. Like, what the hell was going on here? I can't focus. I got a song in my head. So now, all this is programming to create to allow this, put you in a situation to disconnect you from the spirit. And we fall hook, line, and sinker into all these distractions. We just fall into it hook, line, and sinker. Because Satan knows we all have a propensity to feed the flesh. And this is why all those shorts and those memes, it doesn't help you. All that TikTok, all it does is teach you got 30 seconds to focus. How long is TikTok for? For like when they play it. When they play the actual.
20 seconds.
How long?
20 seconds.
Bro, so the punchline hits you in 20 seconds. But when you read books, the punchline's longer than 20 seconds. So guess what happens? If you live off TikTok, you're going to sit back here and have the endurance to read a book that takes days?
Because you're training your mind to have a shorter
That's the point.
attention span.
And everything around us is being set up to water us down. And we fall into it hook, line, and sinker. And we wonder why we have concentration issues. We have problems focusing. Like, how can you focus when you watch World Star all the damn time? Watching black folks beat up bums in the street, and laugh off that shit. How you gonna sit back here? You gonna go through something like that and then sit back here and lock in and be at a concert on spiritual matters? It's not going to work. Let's let this go, and let's go to 2nd Esdras, chapter 3, verse 20 through 25.
The information's not going to stick.
Yeah, it's not going to stick. That's the point.
Chapter 3, verse what?
3 verse 20. 2nd Esdras, chapter 3, verse 20.
God, 2nd Ezra, chapter 3, verse 20. And yet tookest thou not...
I'm taking the time to really paint the picture about the condition before we go into solutions, because I don't think we understand the effect of social media, the effect of detaching yourself from a lot of different distractions on the body and on the mind. Because whatever your daily routine is on social media and on television, it is having an effect on your focus, on your discipline, and on fighting your spiritual fight. How many times you sat back here and you're on a diet or you're trying to eat the right thing and you watch something on television and all of a sudden you got to have what you just saw on television? These things are real, man. These things are real. Whether it's food, whether you see something on a screen that takes your mind in a certain lustful position, and all of a sudden you just can't shake that thinking, and all of a sudden you've created a battle where it wasn't there. That's how you know it was the prince of the power of the air behind it. But we keep making our spiritual battle harder because we invite all these distractions into our life, and then wonder why we can't control these spirits. And we call them spirits. But you opening the damn enchantment books every damn day long, huh? You're opening Satan books every 5 minutes. Let's look into the satanic book of Instagram. You look at Instagram, there's a problem. If you have a lust issue, don't look at Instagram. If you got lust issues, do not look at Instagram. There will be problems. I'm telling you, if you want to sit back here and stop reminiscing from the past, get off Facebook. Because what's Facebook going to do? Oh, what happened back in the day when I was young? I'm not a kid anymore. You all that old shit, right? Yeah. You know Facebook is taking you back in time, right?
Snapchat.
Oh, that's the devil.
That's the devil.
All this shit's the devil, right?
We don't believe that.
Huh?
So we don't believe it.
We don't. We just think, we tell ourselves, I need a break. I need some time to relax my mind. But that relaxing time is what opens the door for exposing what the negative that's inside of us. 2nd Ezra 3 and 20.
God. 2nd Ezra 3 verse 20. And yet tookest thou not away from them a wicked heart, that the law might bring forth fruit in them.
Read that again. He says, "Yet tookest thou not away from them a wicked heart." The Most High never took our wicked inclinations away from us. Even when we're sitting back here and we have the scriptures, we have the Bible, I don't think we're aware enough of the fact that that wicked heart is still thriving in us. That wicked mind is still in us. And it's looking for an opportunity to get out and have fun and explode and experience shit. We're not conscious enough of it. We don't walk around circumspect enough to be aware of that. He said he never took, you know what, because you know what we do? We'll tell ourselves, we've been good for a little bit. I can relax now. I can take a break. I've been on point for a couple weeks. Let me sit back here and take some time and just enjoy things around me. That's when you open the door for Satan. Yes, sir?
I think sometimes it's also like that. It's sometimes looked at as like over righteous.
Yeah. God. But the scripture also says, know what's evil for thy spirit and give that unto it.
Right.
Because there's certain things that just is toxic for your soul. Listen, you sit back here for a sister and you watch these novellas and shit. And what's the first thing in your head? How come I can't experience what's going on here? How come I can't go out to this badass vacation spot? How come I can't go out and do these things? And all of a sudden, it's another thought.
You've compounded your spiritual battle.
You already got something in you that has, you already got negative in you, and what you see just feeds those insecurities. The thoughts that you're missing out in life. The thoughts that what you're going through isn't fair. And then all of a sudden, 2 or 3 weeks later, after that thought has grown, got fed, manifested, now there's a problem at the house. There's arguments at the house. Who's experienced that? All of us. So yes, when you tell yourself that it's over righteous, that's what most of us think. But that is the beginning of the fall. When you tell yourself you're over righteous, that means you're saying, I can have a little fun and dabble in this negative, and it's gonna be okay. And it never does. It never turns out right for you, or us, or any of us. Let's continue. So the Most High is telling us, the Most High never took that evil heart away from Israel. Read on, Nathaniel.
Verse 21. For the first Adam, bearing a wicked heart, transgressed.
So even Ezra, which is phenomenal, knew that there was more than one Adam. There was the first Adam, and there was going to be a second Adam that came. And this is even before Christ came out on the scene. He knew a second Adam was coming. So the first Adam, bearing a wicked heart, transgressed.
And was overcome, and so be all they that are born of him. Verse 22. Thus infirmity was made permanent.
Infirmity was made permanent. Sickness was made permanent. Do we understand that there's permanent sickness in us? Just because we feel good, because we feel confident, doesn't mean sickness is not lying in the wait, ready to sit back and pounce on us and expose and come out and bring us low again and bring us down. Are we always conscious of the fact that transgression and infirmity and sickness is permanent in us? We don't operate thinking that way. And we wonder why we have all these highs and lows. And you start realizing that there is just this rat race, I don't even want to say rat race, this hamster wheel of emotional ups and downs. You got a question in your mind?
Yeah, what do you mean by permanent?
Huh?
What do you mean by
It's permanently in you.
What do you mean?
It's not leaving.
Like, not even after a long time?
Oh, hell no. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say what I used to tell myself when I was a young man, the truth. I said, man, all this shit is in my head. When I become a general, it will not be there no longer. And I said it that dumb way. It will not be there no longer. I didn't say it will no longer be there. I said it will not be there no longer. You know what I realized when I became a general? This shit's still here. Now, I was a general at like 20-something, 20. I thought, hey, I'm 44. It's still there. These demons are not leaving. This negative ain't going nowhere. So the shit I was battling at 16 when I said all of these evil spirits will leave when I become a general. That's it. Look at all these powerful generals up there on the podium, man. There's all these badass generals out with fringes flowing everywhere. I said, these guys surely don't have issues. I was wrong. They don't have these issues. Yes, they do. Yes, we do. Because that infirmity is permanent.
It's just your maturity should be able to manage it better.
That's the point.
Maturity.
Can you manage sickness? Can you manage? Are you always aware that there is a monster in jail? And you know what? You ever watch like the G.I. Joe and stuff like that? Transform. How come Cobra always gets out of jail, bro? How come whatever they're in jail and the next week they broke out of jail? What the hell is happening here? How are they always breaking out of jail?
Jason Voorhees is always behind people walking. You can never kill him.
Yeah.
He's always
right or this chick is sprinting and then Jason's walking at her. Right. She falls for like a 10-second clip. How did he catch that space? That was 40 yards. Right. He's not running.
It's a comfortable stroll.
He's walking, B. He is walking. He's not worried. He will get the person. He will get his victim. Until there's one person left, and then all of a sudden he loses. He forgets how to fight and kill people. Stupid. What's the point? That's dumb too. Yeah. Like you are masterful at killing people all moving, and this frail 80-pound chick beats you out. What's going on here, right? Anyway, let me stop. You get the point. The point is that every day they'll have to be aware that that negative in you was trying to get out. Right. So this is why, like you said, Nagahab, you got to be over righteous when it comes to guarding your spirit and protecting your spirit from falling.
This is when you impute that on other people. That might not be the issue. Mm-hmm. That happens a lot in this road too. Brothers were like, listen, man, I have to eat this type of soup. Okay, well, everybody has to eat that type of soup. Yep. What Israelites do is impute, we don't do mixed fibers. I get it, bro, but it's hard to buy clothes without mixed fibers, bro. Yeah. That's when it becomes over righteous, but it's not practical.
You gotta say that again. I think you went past on it. What you're saying is, a lot of times when we are, the thing that you have to do to keep your spirit strong isn't necessary what another person has to do to keep their spirit strong. So pushing that method or two that keeps that linchpin into that jail cell for that negative demon might not be the linchpin somebody else needs to keep their spirit strong.
Because people want to see everybody doing what they're doing because they hate the fact. I hate the fact I have to drink water 24 hours a day. Well, you need to drink water too. What about your dream to drink some more? Well, listen, I get it. And you should drink more water. Mm-hmm. But you have a liver issue. That's why you got to drink water every day. Yeah. Let's keep it real.
Yeah. You partied for 30 years.
You was a rock star for 30 years, and now your liver's crazy. Now you got to be crazy about hydration. But now you're mad at people for drinking soda. Let them drink their soda, bro. And you got to live this water life.
Yes. That's what people don't like, guy. And people are mad that you're sipping that delicious soda in front of them, man. This is they're like, this is this goddamn delicious soda, and you're drinking it in front of me.
It's Sprite with vanilla in it. It's a hint of vanilla. This is lovely.
And you smell it. You smell that vanilla.
Oh my god!
That's the new orange. That's the new orange extract in there.
They did it again.
They didn't put orange extract in there. Come on. Is that vanilla extract in there?
I would love to.
Is this vanilla extract in here? I can't drink it.
I should.
We're not supposed to drink sodas, Zach.
Yeah, I actually would love to have.
Is that cherry coke?
When it comes to weight, there's people that they can eat certain things and they don't blow up. Mm-hmm. But if I have a sensitivity with my weight, I just cannot eat. I cannot eat this type of bread. I have to live a keto life.
And can you sit back and accept that your path is different? But let's keep going because we're just getting started, man.
I want to pull a scripture real quick.
Okay, can we finish this real quick?
Second Ezra chapter 3, verse 22. Thus infirmity was made permanent, and the law also, and the heart of the people with the malignity of the root, so that the good departed away, and the evil abode still.
And that's the thing, the evil is in us. It's still in us. Listen, we're going to be judged when everything is said and done based on how well we've managed this malignant root in us. To walk around here and think that anybody in this room is going to be scot-free of flaws and mistakes where we are lying to ourselves. But what the Most High is going to be looking at all of us is, how hard did you work to keep all of this negative in you controlled? How hard did you work to make sure you didn't feed this sin in you? And this kind of ties back into class.
That's what we do. We feed it.
But and what we're trying to teach is how to spiritually thrive in a world that everywhere you look is gunning for your spirit. Everywhere you look is gunning for your spirit. Yes, Nakaha?
I'm just saying, man. It's like when you're in class, like you hear statements like that, and very powerful. But when you get hit with those distractions from whatever source it may be, it like dulls it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know you said dull earlier, but
everything
really
you're right.
It dulls it.
Yeah.
Like you kind of lose sight of it for a moment. You know what I mean?
And it's almost like, and this is why, if you are not constantly reinforcing your mind with the book, if you're not constantly reinforcing your mind with spiritual elements, that wall that you built will break. This is why we as a nation, we as brothers don't study enough. We don't study enough to maintain our spirit. Sisters don't either. Listen, if you think listening to class for 2.5 hours a day on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and 4 hours on Saturday is enough, you're lying to yourself. If you're not talking the book, if you're not meditating the book, on top of eliminating these distractions, you're opening the door for the natural negative, that natural malignity that's in you. Listen, if I have anger issues, then why am I not in the book enough to keep my anger under control? That means, you know what? If I have anger and outlook issues, then I shouldn't be watching nothing that fuels my negativity. If I have a temper issue, then I better be in the book like a mug. If I have a lust issue,
that's what I'm saying,
then I better be in the book all the damn time.
And if you have a corn issue, then you can't sit here and look, and you can't in the mall like
a corn cart out.
Yeah. If you got corn issues, you can't sit here and really focus on, oh man, look at that magazine. It's selling water, but look at the girl selling the water.
Yeah.
I'm watching the weather, but look how she's dressed.
Yeah.
Look how she's dressed.
I always have those like Issachar weather chicks. Like, what the hell is going on here? Right?
You look at the weather.
And I'm sitting here just, I want to know how hot it's going to be today. Right? Yes. And like, why is she here in that dress? And all of a sudden it's over. Right? Outlook's all jacked up.
It's going to be really hot today. Like, oh my gosh. What's going on here? That's what it is.
Yeah.
Listen.
You gotta look at Paul Morales on Channel 4 to get your mind right and sit out.
Yeah.
There's a car dude. You gotta go to him out. Keep going.
Yeah, no, but it's our job to create the environment to make our environment suitable to our spiritual needs. That's what our job to do. I'm at the Zone years ago. I was at the Zone, bro. This ain't working, bro. I'm calling only men from now on, bro. Only men getting called this card.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't care.
No, that is a tried and true approach that every man that's worked them all long enough had to do. Because if not, you're going to go on the wayside.
It's over.
It's over, right?
The day is over, too.
The total is not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
And you have a bad day.
Exactly.
And then it could be a string of bad days if you don't jump on it.
What is the problem here? I
called all the customers I could.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what customer you call? The ones with yoga pants on. You call yoga pants.
He called all the yoga pants.
They didn't want to buy from me. I wonder why they want to buy from you. Huh?
They didn't want to buy, and you was talking for like 40 minutes.
Eyes all glassy.
If you knew they didn't want to buy, why are you talking for 45 minutes? Huh?
Exactly. I was trying to convince her. No, you weren't.
You were. He was trying to convince.
But what are you selling? Are you selling oils or are you selling you?
You.
People are intermingling their flesh and their responsibility. And therefore multiplying more responsibility.
Yep.
So on our day-to-day life, is whatever your vice is your environment entertaining your vice?
But half the time we're not honest about ourselves. We're not honest about the sickness in ourselves.
I'm past this.
No, you're not. Listen, you're never past your weaknesses.
That was
in the flesh.
years ago. I came to the truth. I've been the truth for 4 years.
Shit. 10 don't change nothing. 15 don't change nothing.
Yeah.
Your weaknesses is your weakness.
Vices are vices, bro.
Bro, anyway, let's continue. So we're dealing with the fact that the Most High never took that malignant negativity out of us. Read on.
You want verse 24?
Yep, we're going to 25.
God. It's like it, verse 23. So the times passed away, and the years were brought to an end. And didst thou raise thee a servant called David, whom thou commandest to build a city unto thy name, and to offer incense, oblations unto thee therein.
You know, I'm done with that. That's it just goes into more. So what you gonna say now? Yeah, what verse do you want?
I'm gonna pull real quick. Let's go to my phone said my technology thing. Matthew 13 verse 14 and 15.
See, there you what's your Bible, where your parchment at?
I know.
I'm gonna say that I'm using my damn computer, man.
Yeah.
So what is it? Second issue what?
Matthew 13 and 14 and 15. Chapter 13 verse 14 and 15 and 2 Timothy 4 and 3.
Slid the second one.
Yeah, it just goes together. It goes together.
Matthew 13 in verse 13. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they see not, and hearing they hear not.
Read on.
Neither do they understand.
Neither do they really understand. We're going to find out why people don't understand. Read on.
And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Messiah, which saith, by hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand.
So we're getting scriptures all the time, but the understanding is not penetrating.
Perfect.
Ever learning, but why are we never able to come into the knowledge of the truth? Read.
And seeing ye shall see.
You're seeing scriptures. You're seeing pictures of
icons.
You're seeing
Russian
icons.
icons.
You're seeing the power icons and the angels, and
Yes.
you're seeing all. Listen, that's fantastic.
Yes.
I'm seeing books. There's books here. There's books here.
Israel becomes like expert book collectors.
I have a nice book.
There's a lot of
Look
Israelis
at
that have
this
a lot of
book,
awesome
God.
books out.
I'm a man of books.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're a man of books. That's great. Let's keep reading.
And shall not perceive.
But you're not gonna understand the books.
There you go.
You collect the books. You don't understand the books. You collect classes, but I'm not understanding classes. Because I'm not creating the proper environment for it to penetrate. Read.
Verse 15. For this people's heart is waxed gross.
The mind has waxed gross. Your mind is filled. It's like soil, bro. When you have bad soil, the nutrients in that soil can't feed the seeds that are trying to be planted.
No doubt.
Is your mind that hard soil that there's no nutrients in the soil to feed the scriptures or the word? Because remember, the Bible calls it the seed.
Yep.
The word is the seed. The seed being planted in your mind. But what type of soil is your mind? Is it filled with a bunch of weeds, a bunch of pools, taking the nutrients and stealing the nutrients from that seed from growing?
Yep.
Or that class from really taking root in you?
Yes.
Or that book from really give you clarity? Read.
God. And their ears are dull of hearing.
Getting counsel all day, but the counsel's just not penetrating. I wonder why. Because as soon as the
brothers
counsel,
keep making the same mistakes day after day, week after week, month after month.
I knew it back in the day, bro. I knew it was a demon back in the day because, bro, how give you like a life altering counsel, and then right after that, it's comes from Tupac. Like Tupac's conversation and the counsel, it's like Tupac was drowning out the counsel. Cause you know you got cut and the cut's like I didn't think about this.
Okay.
Ride or die, you gonna ride or die? You start getting talked with this out. The whole spirit of the council has left.
Oh my gosh.
Instead it's Tupac, and now it's just look at that. Look at that. That's funny. That's funny. It's not Tupac anymore, but it's still something that's creating that donut.
I got another one. Had a long day. That counsel with me. I need a drink.
Same thing. You drown the counsel.
Whether I'm clowning online or I'm going to drink. I'm gonna go to the club. Then all of a sudden, I meet something at the club, and all of a sudden, guess what? The magnitude of the counsel is less important.
The counsel diminishes because two things cannot occupy the same space at the same time.
You were a verse before I really started going. And you're good. This is good. But this is exactly on line where we're going into.
Well, I'm trying to ride with you, bro.
We didn't go to the punchline though, but I'm just saying. All I'm saying is it's right on line with it. It's right on
line. The punchline. Let's keep going.
It just came off the top, man. It's good. I'm just saying we're in agreement here.
Good.
I'm not mad. I'm just saying this is good. I was going there.
Class was good.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. Keep reading.
God. And their ears they have closed,
Mm-hmm.
least at any time.
So my ability to absorb instruction has diminished because I've stimulated.
So he says they close their ears.
Yeah. And
they close their ears because something else has replaced it.
Come on.
Something else is competing for the information.
Exactly.
You have to understand, the mind can only retain so much at a time. The understanding can only sink in so much at a time. So when you're putting all these different distractions and you're feeding all this negative in your mind, you're going to lessen the caliber of the lesson.
Exactly.
You're going to weaken the caliber of the lesson.
Wow.
Because you're consuming so many other things in your life.
It's already hard to understand the Bible, guys. It ain't like the Bible is some A, B, C, E, F, G.
And it's even harder to understand how to break yourself, to muster the strength to destroy that negative inside of you. Is even harder. But if you're sitting back here entertaining all of this outside filth, you're not going to muster the strength to break and suffocate the negative inside of you.
That's why the heart has waxed gross.
Yep.
Read on. Filthy. Read.
Lest at any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears.
Lest anytime you actually, it makes sense. The counsel makes sense. I get it.
Yep.
This is what I have to do. That's what hear with the ears and see with the eyes actually means. They actually get the point.
Well, I was going to say thick. Gross is thick. Meaning there's a lot of stuff impeding the information getting through. That's what makes it gross. It's thick. It's murky. The message can't clearly go and penetrate because there's so much in the way. Haven't you noticed that?
Yeah.
When you got lust on the mind, you can't concentrate. When you're angry, when all these emotions are flowing through you, it could be emotions. A person can be, listen, if I as a man have issues with being distracted, then I have to starve out all the things that take my attention away easily. Am I right or wrong? A lot of us have focus issues. If I have focus issues, you know what? I need to stop. I need to focus on only one thing. You know, can we own up to the fact that some of us are not multitaskers? And if we're not multitaskers, and I need to focus on one thing. But that sounds awesome. But what does that mean in application?
Lose it.
You're going to lose a lot of fluff.
Yeah.
Then you know, cut off your Instagram account. Cut off your Facebook. Cut off your TikTok and get rid of your Instagram. Who wants to do that? Nobody wants to do it.
Or it can't matter anymore. And this is the thing, like texting and driving.
But the thing is, it can't matter. I mean, you gotta get rid of it.
Exactly.
Know what's evil for thy spirit and get and that's the point. But what you know what we'll do? I will have a self-imposed ban, but I will have it on my phone. I just will not look at that shit. And that only works for a couple days, and you're back on that shit.
Listen, I'm harping on the texting and driving point because they say that's where all these accidents be coming from. It's not drinking anymore. People aren't drinking and driving and crashing. They're texting and driving and crashing.
Yeah.
Because people are they're even driving overstimulated.
Yeah, that's true.
Listen, is it the majority of accidents now?
Yep.
Or just behind texting? That's all it is. The majority of deaths on the highway are behind texting. Back in the day, at least it was alcohol. At least it was Bud Light. You know what I'm saying? At least there was some liquor behind it. Like, you have a good reason. I was drunk, dog. What are you going to say now? She said, where are you at?
I had to respond.
I'm over here. Yeah. Now your car is destroyed. Yeah. Or you're bleeding. This is real. People have statistics on this about how many people are dying from this. A text like, yeah. as killing people.
OTW on the way.
Yeah, on the way, yeah, where you at? Those little statements, people are driving, bling, ba-ding, 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 and they're crashing, killing people. This is just another story about how the society as a whole is overstimulated with a bunch of pop-ups and digital stimulation.
But we're trying to sit back and fight our battles with all this gross thickness in our minds.
It's not gonna happen, bro.
That's the point. What's up?
I think it's
No, you're good. Go ahead.
But if you had your hand up, what's up? I missed it.
Well, so let's say you're going at it for like 2 weeks.
Going at what?
Well, just the general spirit of like trying to commit yourself to getting away from what you're doing, and you're going at it, and then it gets to that point where you're like where you're like getting really tempted to go against that. So,
you mean the defeat it, to get the win again.
Exactly. Like so what do you do about that?
Well, I'm gonna say this. It's just like, I guess I can go into when I changed my diet for this one short period of time in my life. I cut off all carbs, all I had candida, and I got rid of all the stuff that fed candida, and it was like damn near everything: meats, starches. It was hell out. It was sugar, everything that fed it. I just got rid of it. And when I ended up eating just spelt and almond butter, and I was juicing 3 times a day, and you know what? I was going crazy by the time I got to like mid-month. And I was smelling pizzas and I was smelling the herbs on burgers. I was like, you would smell not just the burger. You would smell like that was Lowry seasoning on that damn burger. You can smell seasoning. You can smell everything.
Dog nose now. You got a dog nose now.
Everything got heightened by times 10. And then the reality is this: I had to sit there and just suffer through it. And I had to consume that dead time and that frustration with more studying. This is what the Most High talks about in Ecclesiastes 25:12 about cleaving to the Most High. There is no easy answer to when you start to like have that itch to get weak. We all get that itch to get weak. There is no answer. There's no easy answer but to sit back here and replace that itch with studying. To replace that itch with counseling. That's the answer. And no. And do we trust? Do we trust that the Most High will help me take this spirit off of me? Because the spirit comes off of you if you give your mind to the book more. Because the reality is this: the Most High is teaching us how to overcome the passions, how to overcome the pulls. The only way to overcome the pulls is to go deeper in the book. And then the more you go deeper in the book, you're training your mind to concentrate on a higher level than what we're used to studying and concentrating. Because that's what kills us. We're thinking and meditating on what we want versus choosing to think and meditate on what's going to strengthen us. It's a constant choice to continue to sever off these thoughts, to sever off these entities that feed us being weak, or what feeds our lesser selves. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I gotta pull this right here. Proverbs 15:24. Just as what you're saying.
Okay.
I promise what you.
Proverbs 15:24.
So that Muslim think this is just a war's idea. This is the Bible. Proverbs 15:24.
The way of life is above to the wise.
The way of life. He said.
What verse is that? Proverbs what?
15 verse 24. The way of life is above to the wise, right? The way is the path or method, right? The path or method has to be above. Remember, he said you're done with the lower self. So to a wise man, you have to keep reaching up. You have to keep ascending, and you have to keep tapping into a higher spiritual frequency. The way of life is above, tapping into a higher frequency. Read, it's going to make sense, right? The second point. Read.
That he may depart from hell beneath.
The hell beneath is your lower nature.
Yes.
So your lower carnal nature, your sexual nature, your overstimulated nature, your distracted nature is your lower nature. Your spiritual nature, which is desire for righteousness, wisdom, and study ethic, closeness to God, and connection with the Father, is above. So guess what? A wise man is going to reach for the Most High and connect to Him. But guess what? You have to fight for the Most High to escape your lower nature.
Yeah, but and the higher rising and the higher process, it still goes back to there is a more disciplined way than how I operate.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Well, I was trying to. So when you said earlier, how Scripture talks about what you said earlier, the give not evil, know what is evil for their spirit, and give not down to it. I think there's like you kind of fool yourself though, and you kind of make excuses for yourself. Like, okay, I know I can handle this level of whatever this is, and it won't be evil for me. It's like this trickery, man. And I'm trying to, how you get like out of.
I'm gonna say this, talking about the weakness and letting people remind you that you can't get past the trickery.
Right.
This is what makes most men and sisters in the truth stumble. Their lack of honesty and transparency about their weakness. Israel doesn't talk enough about what gets them to their rock bottom, what their weakness is, what's the thing in their life and the truth that they just can't get a hold of. If there was more of a dialogue about what weakens them and what they have no control over, then you know what? Somebody will be there to say, man, you're lying to yourself right now. You know how many conversations we have as brothers when there's a real spiritual relationship where it's like, bro, listen, you're lying. That is an ism. I always call them isms. That is your crazy ass opinion, and that's off. And that crazy ass opinion that you hold opens the door for perpetual sin. And that's where it goes into listen, your verse in Matthew 13 and 14 talked about how people's mind is waxed gross and their ears are dull of hearing. That's because people have closed their mind off to wisdom. But the reason wisdom is closed off in their mind is because there's so many other thoughts, feelings, and emotion that's competing with that wisdom. That's why we're dull of hearing. But then there's other verses that talk about a fool in a different light. Are you done with that verse?
I'm done with that verse.
I want to go to a couple and then hit back with your point.
It's all good.
Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha 33. Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha 33 in verse 5.
Verse 5.
Ecclesiasticus 33 in the Apocrypha.
You ready?
Not yet. Let's read that.
Come. Ecclesiastes chapter 33, verse 5 reads.
I really like that verse you went because the dullness and the grossness, that's really, matter of fact, I don't even think we finished that. You didn't finish that, did you?
We didn't finish it. Bro.
Matter of fact, somebody else hold that and finish Matthew 13 and 15. Because that's really a damn good verse.
Matthew 13, 15?
Yeah.
Matthew chapter 13, verse 15. For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted.
So the whole point was for you to understand with your heart and be converted.
But you can't be converted, you can't be healed because there's too much in your head to compete with the wisdom.
The wisdom
and
works.
it's too much in your head because you allow too much in your head. And that creates the confusion. And it doesn't allow you to really meditate on how to stay on top of yourself. It's just like from a dietary perspective. When a person has a lot of issues with their stomach and their colon, what's the first thing holistic people will say? Your stomach needs a break. People are eating 3 to 6 times a day. your body needs time to rest and purge.
Yeah.
You keep putting things in there and not letting your stomach get time to get things out.
Break it down.
It's the same thing in our mind. We keep bringing so much negative in our mind. We don't have time to flush it out. We keep bringing more stimuli in our mind.
It says, then I would have converted them.
You can't
Yeah,
get
to the hill.
you can't get spiritually healed because you keep throwing smut in your head.
Huh?
You keep bringing garbage in your head.
You keep reinfecting yourself.
Jokes and listen, life. How many brothers just get memes all damn day long? You think that's building your spirit up? Everything's a goddamn joke at, and comedy at, and funny at, and everything's about smiling at, and not taking anything serious.
That little fat, that internet fat little smiley guy with the white, it's like a little like half moon looking guy. Never mind.
It's a wiki leak.
Yeah, never mind, bro. Nobody connected to us.
I know what you're
This is the guy that's watching on computers.
Yeah,
You know the computer's too long.
There's a face of there's a folly face online.
Yeah, I know.
Martin had the.
He's watching too much computer shit too. You tell yourself.
But Martin, how about that?
I gotta
that
put
beat
my
up-
this.
that beat
You're
up
the
face-
man.
That beat up face that Martin had. How about that? Y'all relate to that?
Okay.
Oh, whatever, bro. These examples always suck. They always suck. They always suck.
I do remember the beat up face, but I
It doesn't
don't
matter.
remember it like in present day, like memes and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I'm saying for memes, there's a meme guy. This folly. It's cool, bro. I only made it live, so I know this.
This is the whole point I'm trying to say. For those of y'all who know, you know.
Yeah.
It's all good.
It's the half moon face guy. Nah, don't worry about it. It sucks. It sucks.
The T guy, I don't know. It's okay.
It's example.
Somebody knows that out there.
They know.
Hey, click on the line if you know what he's talking about. It's okay. No, but let's keep going. The point is all this things crap we're putting in our mind, it makes it extremely difficult to be converted. And it says, and I should heal them. You can't get healed because you keep bringing things that weaken your spirit into your mind. That's the point.
Simple as that.
So now, because we don't eliminate all this crap out of our mind, we keep looking for stimuli. I'm telling you, you keep going on internet to get some kind of gratification, you are not going to be able to focus on reading books. I'm telling you that right now. It is very difficult to sit back in the scriptures and read and retain when your mind is used to quickly getting stimulated online.
Junk food. Spiritual
It's
junk food.
really junk food, and it weakens and retards your discipline. Now, because of this, now we go to Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha 33 and 5. Mama, I think you had that.
Come. Ecclesiastes chapter 33, verse 5 reads, "The heart of the foolish is like a cartwheel."
The heart of the foolish is like a cartwheel.
Up
The
and
person
down.
the fool is the person that keeps entertaining weakness.
That's stupid. It's in that cycle. The hamster wheel.
That's the point. It's a car. You're just going in circles.
This is got me nowhere.
Yes. But you know what the crazy thing is? But how about we're fools in our own way?
Yeah.
You can be wise in work ethic, but still be a fool in how you look at things.
Yeah.
You can be a fool in what you do with your free time.
Yeah.
You can be a fool when it comes to your mental discipline and mental retention in a book.
Facts.
But you can have a great work ethic. You can have a wise work ethic. You should look at yourself like that. Okay? So once again, read that verse again.
Ecclesiastes chapter 33, verse 5 reads, "The heart of the foolish is like a cartwheel, and his thoughts are like a rolling axle."
That's the crazy point.
His thoughts are like a rolling axle tree. You're just going in circles at it. You're just spinning and you're not going nowhere either. You're just running in circles. You're just running in place. But that's how it feels when you're the same guy in 6 months than you were. You make the same mistakes you was making 6 months ago, the same mistakes you was making a year ago.
Another Passover.
Yeah.
I'm the same guy.
Another path. Whether you get, listen, that's the point. Because you know what? Your mental, the way you process your battle hasn't changed. The way you process how to get a hold of your spirit hasn't changed. So you are like that rolling axle tree, that cartwheel, that person that's just spinning his wheels. You're getting older and older and older, but your methods of staying on top of yourself is still breaking you. You know why? Because we keep feeding the same sources that lead us to that inconsistency. We keep feeding that same sources that dull our mind out.
And people say, the truth didn't work for me. No, bro. You fed 1,000 distractions.
Yep.
And the scriptures couldn't penetrate.
Yep.
It wasn't that you have to be an Egyptian now.
Yep.
Or you got to be a Moor now. It's the fact that these scriptures didn't penetrate your mind that was filled with distractions.
Because we kept there was a word, we kept sitting back here and musing on so many things. Musing on so many different distractions. But then you want this word to penetrate. What does it mean to penetrate? In order for the word to penetrate, the word has to be in your mind to where action comes behind it.
Yeah.
It's hard for the word to turn to action when you have so many contrary thoughts that's convincing you that you don't have to change it.
It's competing against an army of distractions.
Exactly. I don't think we understand that concept. I'm gonna repeat it again. In order for the word to penetrate and turn from word to action, that means you're going to have to replace and eliminate all of the information and the thoughts and the feelings that are pushing those urges into action in the carnal. I don't know if you've noticed this. When you're trying to sit back and fight your battle, like in the cartoons, you get the guy in the white suit, the angel, and the guy in the demon suit, and you get a series of thoughts from that red guy trying to convince you to go left. Then you have the series of thoughts on the guy on the right to try to get you to do the right path. Listen, we know it's not a physical manifestation like that, but I tell you what, them thoughts roll like that. And if we're honest, there's way more thoughts from that red guy than there's spiritual thoughts on the right-hand side, especially for those of us who can't get on top of certain fleshly issues. So once again, all those negative thoughts is that grossness, that thickness that's embedded in your head, embedded in your ears, so where you can't hear the message. In order for the word to penetrate, we have to clean out that dirt and that gross thickness that's in our mind that's not allowing the word to penetrate and turn into action. We're trying to talk about what it takes to actually get from listening to actually accomplishing.
Doing. Bless the readers,
getting
hearers,
to,
and
That's
doers.
the point. And to eliminate what most of us experience is just living and operating in cycles. And just not in cycles, but in just doing the same thing over and over again. Going through the same mess up, same mistakes.
Same hangups.
Listen, this is why we can't get over our issues. We have the same anger issues, the same bouts with alcoholism, the same bouts with lust, the same bouts with confidence. I can't concentrate. I can't stand up and speak my mind. I'm afraid to lose. These things end up crippling us in our life.
Exactly.
Why? Because there's this grossness, this gross thickness in our head that we haven't eliminated. So we had all these. Listen. I'm not trying to big myself up or down me out or shout you up, but you all get some heavy ass classes. Why ain't it sticking? Because there is 2 tons of damn dirt in your damn brain that you ain't cleaned out.
That's how
it's no different than people's stomach, right?
Yeah.
Listen, the stomach has this cilia.
Yeah.
These little
fillers,
hair-like things in your stomach,
Right.
and that takes out, that receives the nutrients and gets to your body. A lot of people can't get the nutrients into their body because there's around, let's say the cilia is this long. If the shit's this big, up in the cilia, you can't get nothing in your system. If all this clogging your system. So what good is taking herbs and taking medicines and drinking good fruit juice, all that stuff? What good is it if you have 5 to 10 pounds of crap in your stomach?
It's a waste.
That's the point. You got to get the crap out of you before the nutrients can actually do what they're supposed to do. You ever take herbs and you just urinating heavy yellow? Like, did any of this shit stick? Or am I just pissing out all the goddamn good stuff?
Right.
That's what I've asked myself. I don't know about you. Like, what the hell is the purpose of taking this magical vitamins If it's not working.
What's the absorbability?
I'm taking a hell of a lot of vitamins. Like old folks in pill boxes. I was pill boxing my ass off, and I wasn't feeling that much difference. Like, that's the problem here. That's a goddamn problem. You know what? This is what happens to us on the spiritual side. We get all kind of verses in our head. We're writing our notes, and we're still screwing up after class is over. And what the hell's going on here? Does that make sense? That is the damn axle tree. That is the damn cartwheel. The cycle of making. We're just playing. It's almost like we're playing church.
Yeah.
We're playing Israelite. We get information. That was smart. That was good information. I've never read that verse before. Good precept. Jolly old precept, sir.
Yeah.
And you go home and you keep making the same mistakes over again. This is the nature of us, yes, sir?
No, I'm just talking out loud. I'm just receiving.
I think. Can I say something?
Christ is simple.
I'm gonna say this. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. But just the brother was like saying, how about a fast from radio, TV, and social media for a period of time while studying and meditating on the word, say a week. It ain't gonna be a week. You'll be really good for a week. And then guess what happens? You'll be corrupted again. That's the problem. It's what you just said is explaining a diet. A mental diet. I'm gonna take out for a week, I will not consume this negativity. Right after that week, you're gonna get dirty again. It's almost like if you want to change your diet forever. It's a lifestyle change. What you're explaining is a temporary diet. You have to have a lifestyle change with your mind.
For it to have permanent effect.
For it to actually affect long term, and your spiritual retention will amplify itself. The only way it's going to amplify itself, something has to be removed permanently. That grossness, that dullness has to be removed in order for the word to properly penetrate and to reside in your mind.
But we don't want to let it go, though.
And there we go.
You don't want to let the distractions go.
And that's why nobody talks about the issues. That's why everybody keeps the real problems to themselves. The real issues that you battle with, that you stumble on, nobody talks about it. We get the counsel after you made the mistake. Oh, Lord.
I shouldn't have done what I do now.
Woe is me. I made so many mistakes. I sinned. What are you talking about? Why didn't you have this zealousness before you were about to do that BS you did? I'm a pedal at a guy. I'm a negative guy in the street. Now you want to talk this bad guy in the street stuff.
I'm the worst.
I made mistakes. Like, bro, why don't you say it before? Because you want to hold on to it. You just don't like the feeling of making the mistake. But you like it before you do it, then you feel bad that you did it. And this is the cycle. This is the axle tree cycle. This is the cartwheel cycle.
Yeah.
The negative is in us. We know the negative is in us, but we really don't put the work in to eliminate the negative. In order to eliminate the negative, you can't feed it. It's like cancer. In order to kill cancer, now Esau's way, you kill every goddamn cell in your body. That's insane.
Sure.
But if you're going to sit back and kill a cancer holistically, you can't feed it any of the bad foods. Nothing acidic. You have to starve out the cancer.
Right.
Listen, our outlook is cancerous. The way we think is cancerous. We have to starve out the mechanisms that feed the negative.
Right.
If we want to sit back here and get a hold of our spirit for the word to penetrate.
I remember the brother's house had a roach issue years ago. My brother bought some furniture, and the furniture had the Germans in it. The little German dudes, bro.
They weren't dudes. They were evil beings.
Look, their rate of multiplying was
Horrible,
faster
bro.
than the rate of just seeing one and stepping on it. Now you might kill 5, but they multiply 500.
Those Germans were.
It was out of this world,
They were
bro.
vicious, bro.
It was out of this world.
Yeah.
And it came down to having to have set up intricate steps to kill every possible pathway for them to multiply. And then in 6 months to a year, there's no
And
more
can the
Germans.
house be spotless? How about that one?
Yeah.
That's number one.
Yeah.
You can't have
Of course that.
You can't have fucking cookie crumbs on the floor.
Sitting water.
You can't have sauce on the side of that. You can't have food out. You was lazy, so you want to put the food.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That these things are feeding this infestation. So the word's not penetrating because in my mind there's an infestation of distractions.
And you're feeding it?
And we're feeding it. It's
And
us
you
that are
keep feeding it. But then you're feeding the negative while putting Bible verses inside that same gumbo and jambalaya of negative.
Yeah.
And you wonder why there's not a positive result that comes from it.
Yeah.
You have to purge the sources that you're feeding off of. Then the funny thing is you have to purge the sources so you can go to war with the thoughts.
It's two.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Because I can't go to war with thoughts when there are just countless thoughts pounding my head.
Multiple.
Because there's a constant source of thoughts that I'm feeding off of. Yes, sir?
So what do you do in that case when you're not feeding those sources? So if you're not abusing your spirit by going and entertaining and watching or listening to those, that avarice.
Love that word, avarice.
How you gonna fight off those spirits and those thoughts when they come? Because based on what that brother said online, I've gone 6-7 months basically doing that, where you're just reading, you're researching, you're staying away from those sources. You're not really watching TV. Again, you're not abusing your spirit, but then the thoughts will come, and it's like a sledgehammer, and it's one thought after another thought after another thought until you just fold.
The answer is this: iron sharpens iron. On top of all those things you're doing for your spirit, you still got to have people around you that sharpen you out. You still got to be around people that are strong. It is
It's necessary.
it's a program. It's no different than people that eat right. It's one thing to eat right. It's another thing to be around people that are eating right. It assists in all the measures you're doing. It's like working out. Listen, when you got a workout group and you with people who are working out on that day that you don't feel like it's a Monday, well, it's leg day, it's Thursday, and I don't feel like doing this shit. But another person is. Their strength helps pull you through out of your weakness.
Culture.
So it's a combination of your discipline, your fight, and the people who you surround yourself with. Their fight. They'll help pick you up when you're down. On top of all the internal things you got to fight. On top of the transparency. Because even us on our best day is only going to be so truthful to ourselves. That's what Jeremiah 17 talks about. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. So even us on our best day is only going to push so much. You need other people around you who you confide in, who can help push you past where you mentally want to go. That's where iron sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron alongside of all the measures that you take to fight. On top of that decision where I'm going to eliminate all of this grossness in me, the things that weigh me down. Well, I'm going to go over that definition of gross again because it really hits. Thick, bulky, that's really the best one. It's impure, large, thick, dense, not refined or pure. And is really the best one is 8. It's thick, dense, not adornated, not refined or pure, gross air, gross elements. It's just not pure. All the lack of purity that's in our head has to get removed. So in the process of that, you still need brothers around you that can assist you to help pull that stuff out of you. So it's a combination of things. It's self-imposed discipline, and it's help with the other people.
It's thick, crowded with trees or other objects. It says frequent, following each other in quick succession. Those successions of other thoughts.
It's thought after thought after thought after negative thought, and you just can't get on top of it.
It says set with things close to each other, not easily pervious.
So you know, it boils down to what? First of all, I got a bunch of crap in my head. I gotta first of all cut off the things that are feeding that negative first.
Right.
So then I can isolate the negative thoughts. But whether consciously or unconsciously, we're feeding that negative. And there is a source of that bacteria. There's a source of that negative that we have to identify and then cut it off. Your hand was up, y'all.
It says not clear.
It was a definition for gross.
Yeah, we got it. We got it. The gross part. Well, what you got? What you got?
It was gross, lacking in refinement, good manners or habits, education.
God. So it's still that thick, gross darkness that we're feeding in our head. Then the key is figuring out what source we got to cut off. If you don't do that, all the other classes and verses doesn't matter. Listen, you know what's right and what's wrong. Class clearly paints it up, right? And then it was, oh yeah, it's just the cinnamon. Everyone want to pull Romans 7 and shit. Oh yeah, you know, I do things that I don't want to do, I do, but the things that I do want to do, I don't do. Okay, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, Romans 7 guy. Con.
But how can we make headway?
Well, how do you fix it? How do you grow? And that's the issue. At least the least we can do is say, okay, let me cut off how I feed this shit. Can we do that?
Isaiah 16:2.
What you
Hold
got?
it real quick. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth. Darkness is absence of light. The scriptures are light.
Got
And gross darkness the people.
Yes. It's the truth.
The education of the scriptures can't penetrate and keep
It
people
can't compete with the prince of the power of the air.
with the darkness. Yeah.
The scriptures cannot compete with the prince of the power of the air. Because we're getting 2.5 hours or 2 hours every other day. So 4 days a week, you're getting around 10 hours of class. But there is literally 24 hours in a day, and we're getting bombarded with negative all around us. The combination ain't enough. The rate of staying on top of negative and positive is overwhelmingly siding on the left-hand side.
You're being bombarded daily, and you're like,
And
I'm
we're choosing it.
I'm gonna have a couple leaves of spinach and arugula. Okay, bro.
Yeah. I will get one simple serving of arugula, and I will take 3 buckets of what?
Fried chicken. That's what we do in the spirit.
Wayne's.
Hey man, I ate three leaves of spinach. What are you talking about, bro?
I'll take 3 buckets of KFC.
that
That is bad. Original.
There are herbs, 11 herbs and spices, and this is technically is healthy. Okay, bro. Let's try to line ourselves. We do that too. We lie a lot. We're liars. Well, technically, there's 11 herbs and spices. Okay, bro.
And a whole lot of grease. There's a lot of grease in that chicken.
This is the reason why I had to have the arugula. You understand that?
This is not going to flush out the tons of ground beef or the chicken in your body.
Yeah.
That's every day. So point is, so that's where we're at. We got to be conscious of that. Did we finish Ecclesiastes 33:5?
Kind
Okay, let's jump to Ecclesiasticus 21 and 14. It kind of goes in the same vein. Like I said, I thought we're going to get out of this first part. Yes, sir.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 21 verse 14. Whatever you're ready.
I am ready.
The inner parts of a fool are like a born vessel. It's like a broken vessel.
The inner parts of a fool are like a broken vessel. What does that mean? All this good wisdom, the water is the word, right?
Yeah.
The water is going into our brain, our head, and there's like this big old leak right here. I just, nothing's retaining, nothing's sticking. And this is what's happening, but nothing is sticking because that hole is all that negative that we feed into our mind. So the information doesn't stick. Because I'm going to tell you this, the scriptures are supposed to exhort, right? What is exhortation?
Motivate.
It's to motivate you. It's to motivate you to change. So why can't the scriptures motivate you to change? It's because there's so many more thoughts that you're playing with that kills the motivational aspect in the book. This is why you have to eliminate all of those other sources that is weakening you, because it's weakening your motivation. It's watering down that fire. It takes real motivation to make changes. It takes real meditation, studying, thinking to change bad habits. And if your environment isn't proper, if your environment isn't conducive to change, you're not going to change. If your thinking hasn't been changed, if your surroundings haven't been cleared enough, if like all them trees, all that, you got to clear that shit out for the words to truly penetrate, so you to have the exhortation, the motivation to make the changes in yourself. Yes, sir.
Just to kind of say it bluntly, if it's not the scriptures, not scripture related, eliminate it.
Pretty much. You got to know what's wicked. It goes back to this. You got to know what's evil for your spirit. What doesn't work for you? This is what life is about. Listen, why we keep getting our ass kicked and not figure out what's kicking my ass? Like if I'm in a fight, hey, your guard is down. You keep getting busted up. Bring your left hand up. How many times you get busted in the mouth? Why do I keep getting hit? I don't know somebody keep getting hit.
I keep getting rocked.
I keep getting hit. I can't see shit on my eye.
He keeps hitting my left eye.
I got a rocky face. Why you got a rocky face? Can you bring your left hand up just a little bit, my dude? What the hell's going on? Gonna cut me, Nick. Cut me, man. I can't see shit. Cut me. What's going on here, alright? His eye was like huge, right? Like his eyes are always like this. They're gonna stop the fight. You're gonna lose.
Throw in the towel.
Listen, you lost to all those guys. Stop. You lost to Clever Lane. You lost what's his name? Apollo. Lost to him. Even in part 2. Get out of here, right? Let me stop. You get my point though, right? We keep getting hit, and we sit back here and we don't think, why do I keep getting my ass kicked in this? Why do I keep falling into these same traps? We're all maniacal and crazy with this because we keep doing the same thing. We're in this hamster wheel, but we never take the time to figure out why we keep doing it. You ever see like, well, I'm spiritually strong, then I get weak, then I sin, then I'm sad, then I use my sadness to get me to fight again and try harder again. Then I try hard for a couple weeks, then I get weak, then I sin, then I get sad. I feel sad that I sinned.
It's a hamster wheel.
I'm going to try better next time. And you go back and you're strong for a couple weeks, and guess what happens? You get weak. And then guess what happens? You sin. And then guess what happens? You feel sad for sinning. Come on, it's the same shit. Am I right or wrong? I'm so sad. This time it's going to be different. And you're good for 2 weeks again. And then you get weak again. And you don't say shit to nobody. Hey, sure, you how about show me outside, brother? Thumb! But you're weak as shit inside. Then you sin. Then you start crying. Oh, I made mistakes. I'm sorry. I want to be better. This is our cycle. Nobody is agreeing with me on this. Everybody's quiet like this.
Yeah, I admit no guilt.
I mean, me, I ain't doing that shit. Yes, you is. I'm gonna say yes, you is. Everybody does that crap. What are we going to do to change and correct the cycle? Okay. Where are we at in this verse? We finish this verse up?
Ecclesiasticus chapter 21, verse 14.
Yeah, read it again from the top.
The inner parts of a fool are like a broken vessel, and he will hold no knowledge as long as he liveth.
Exactly. It won't hold, because the information won't turn to wisdom. The knowledge won't turn to wisdom. It's just information. Collection. This is why you guys, brothers, have like notebooks on notebooks on notebooks. They're the same guy since it was 1987. That has been happening for years in Israel. It will sit back and know verses, but the application behind it, they still can't fix it. Read verse 15.
Verse 15. It says, if a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it.
Listen, this is what we're trying to become. Skillful men and women. How do you become skillful? How do you use this word? Use the word of the Most High in Christ and make it work in your life. A skillful man hears a wise word. Read on.
He will commend it
Mm-hmm.
and add unto it.
I will commend it, but you can't commend and add to it unless you live it. The skillful person understands how to retain information. That's the difference between verse 14 and verse 15. The skillful man isn't a broken vessel. The skillful man can hold the information and make it his. But you can't. Nobody on earth can make information theirs unless they get rid of the bad information in their head. You can't grow and evolve into be a better man or a woman unless something has to go in order to add something. Does that make sense? You can't get better at what you're doing unless something else in your life dies. It is always an exchange. You always got to sell something. Listen. The brain and the mind is only so much you're going to get in there. There's so much space in that mind. So you listen. So all this stuff you're acquiring, something else has to go. The flesh has to go. We're not talking about knowledge here. We're talking about how to change your life. And all these, listen, it talks about it all the time when it talks about that unclean spirit. It's in class. It's in the verse. I don't want to go there now because I'm gonna kill the damn rest of the class. Read verse 15 again from the top.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 21, verse 15. If a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it and add unto it. But as soon as one of no understanding heareth it, it displeaseth him, and he casteth it behind his back.
And that's what we do. We don't physically do it. We just don't change what's inside of us. In order to be a skillful person and add it to something, that means you got to hear it, and it has to please you, and that means you have to make it a part of your life. Which means you got to cast your old way behind you. Something has to be cast aside. Either it's going to be the information you got, or it's going to be your old habits got to be cast away. The verse is saying exactly what we're talking about here. Something has to be cast aside and let go. Then the question is, if you're going to cast something aside, we need to cast the mechanism that feeds the negative. It's the truth. If I have kids and I want to save my kids, and I got kids who are around other badass kids, what do? You take that kid away from that bad environment, and you hope that if you take them away from that bad environment, then they can sit back and align themselves with better children, right? That's the hope we do when it comes to our family and our children. Why isn't it the same thing in our mind? What is it about social media that weakens me? What is it about what I consume on a daily basis that weakens me?
I like to get away from that, I like the distraction.
And that's the point. That means, we like to say, we like to call wickedness a distraction, a break. We don't call it what it is.
Right.
Listen, the question is this: why do I have such a problem with serving the Most High and doing my job for the Most High? That's the real question. We call it a break. I need to blow. I need to relax. No, I need to sit back here. I've been doing this Most High thing for 8 hours. I need some sin in my life a little bit, man. I need to feed some wickedness in me. I need folly in my life to relax my brain. Because doing the spiritual thing is just too much. And really, you gotta have balance. You gotta have like an 80-20 split with righteousness and wickedness. Maybe 70-30 on tough days. When it's a heavy day, we gotta go to Del Rio. I gotta throw like 35 more. I gotta throw 35% of wickedness in my brain to balance me out. We don't say it though. We just need to relax and laugh a little bit. And a break.
Wicked balances.
It's wicked balances, and we wonder why we can't retain strong positive habits. And to be specific, we don't change our situation. We never see change. It's the same cycle, like we just read, over and over and over again. Because we keep throwing and casting aside the ways that work, and we keep feeding that weakness and sin. We feed it. Okay, let that verse go. And go, I want to do Proverbs 1 and 22. I wanted to pull this earlier, but class kind of like had a different mind of its own. Proverbs 1 and verse 22.
Proverbs chapter 1, verse 22. How long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity?
How long, ye simple ones, do you love simplicity? You know what simplicity is? There's a lot of different definitions for simplicity. But go to number 6. Number 6 is the one that talks about this situation. Simplicity, number 6. And what this first sentence is going to explain is why Israel keeps making the same mistakes over and over again. And the dynamic behind not cutting off the source of our weaknesses. It shows that we have what? Read that.
Simplicity. Weakness of intellect.
We have weak brains. We have weak minds. Because if we're honest with ourselves, when you do so much spiritual work, why do you have to counterbalance it with some negative? Why when I'm studying, you ever study for a period of time and then part of you says, man, let me watch a movie now. Because I did good and I studied. Why do you got to balance it with some bullshit? I'm serious. Well, why? I've been on point for a long period. I need some alcohol now. Why? Why you need alcohol? Why you go to the club? Why? These are the questions we have to be honest with ourselves because we love sin. We love sin. And we have weak intellect. We have a weak mind. This is why we keep going through these cartwheels and this axle tree. We keep going through the same hamster wheel because we have weak minds. And we're not honest about that. We're weak-minded and we're always looking for a break. Yes, sir.
But the movie isn't looked at as a sin.
That's the point. That's the point. Whether it's the movie, whether it's the TV show, whether it's the novellas, whether it's whatever, whether it's the Snapchat, whether it's TikTok. Listen, I think TikTok's really bad because, listen, man, it's teaching you to sit back here and get instant gratification in these short spans, and it doesn't nurture mental longevity. I even look at when I study. I'm like, why do I have the greatest urge as soon as I sit down to read the Bible to eat lunch? Why do I gotta eat fucking lunch now, bro? What the hell's going on with me? Why do I want to eat now? I was okay until I read this Bible. Why do I gotta have liquids and drinks and hot liquids and cold liquids and snacks? What the hell's going on with me?
Spirit.
Listen, it's weakness of intellect. I have all this shit just for me to read books, read the Bible, and then to actually go in there for a long period of time. You want to sit back after a few minutes or 30 minutes, an hour, that's enough. Why all of it is enough? Why is it enough?
No, 5 is not enough.
Because if it's a movie I want to watch, 3 hours is gone out of my life. Why do I tell myself an hour is enough to study it? An hour and a half is enough.
That's how much you want to give.
That's the point, and that's how long. That's how long I can go before my mind starts to break down. My mind starts to get weak, and my focus starts to break down. It's the truth. It's just showing where our mind is at and where our spirit is at, and how far we're behind. And I'm talking about an hour and a half. How many of y'all can log in an hour and a half with no sweat? I'm not even knocking like it's hour and a half ain't nothing, but I'm just saying. A lot of us is breaking down into 30 minutes. Who can power through an hour a day?
Of what?
Studying in the scriptures. I get it. Kinda. We get it. I'm talking about most of us have problems doing that. It's challenging. It shows there's weakness in the intellect. So when Proverbs, everyone wants to pull this for the street speaking verse. Read Proverbs 1 and 22. How long is y'all been them drugs? How long y'all want that smoke and that drink and that dank?
Yeah.
That's what Israel on the street called sit back and pull. How many of us are going to operate with weakness of intellect? There's varying degrees of weak intellect. And can we sit back and be honest with ourselves and acknowledge our own limits and weak intellect? You can't overcome things unless you can identify where our weak intellect starts and where it really flares in our life. So read that again, Proverbs 1 and 22.
Proverbs 1, verse 22. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity?
How long are we going to love to be intellectually weak? It's the truth. How long are we going to sit back here and love not fighting our battles? Not learning how to stay on top of ourselves? Read on in that verse.
And scorners delight in their scorning.
Mm-hmm.
And fools hate knowledge.
You know why fools hate knowledge? Because it makes their brain hurt. It's that simple. It's that simple, huh?
Mystery solved. Huh?
Ta-da!
Yeah, mystery solved. Huh?
Listen, because it makes your brain hurt, and you don't like to push your brain. It's that simple.
Fools hate knowledge. That makes sense.
Listen, because brothers don't want to concentrate for longer than their mind tells them so they can do it. When you sit back and get tired, do you fight back? When you get sleepy, do you fight back? When you're doing other things at night, if you're sleepy, you're going to keep going. But when it's books, oh man, Spirit told me I'm tired. Get out of here, bro. The Spirit told me I'm tired. I got to get some sleep for tomorrow. Get out of here with that crap. Now it's the Spirit, right? Israel's full of you know what. And that's the point. Can we sit back here and when it comes to spiritual things, choose to power through?
Key point is choose.
It's a choice.
Man.
And because we choose not to, it proves that we're weak intellectually. We have weak minds. But we want God to come through and bless us. We want the Lord to come through and send me the spirit of wisdom. Because in Isaiah 11, the Most High gives the spirit of wisdom. He gives the spirit of understanding. He sends the spirit of counsel. But when does he send it? When you choose to stop having a weak-ass brain. I mean, this is the point, huh? Wow, there's a lot of quietness on.
2 and 2 is you putting 2 and 2 together. 2 and 2 makes 4.
A lot of fours going on.
Spirit of wisdom will come.
But you got to sit back here and make the choice to not be weak in the brain. Huh?
Yeah.
And this doesn't have to happen overnight. But can you sit back and gradually evolve in how long your mind can sustain being on point?
Information, yeah.
Whether it's study, longevity, whether it's how long can you sustain not feeding these outside influences? How long are you going to keep challenging yourself to be better at it? If you want the Most High to give you wisdom, what are you prepared to deny yourself to get it? Let that verse go and go to Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha 16 and 23.
Ecclesiastes 16 and verse 23.
Good.
I am.
He that wanteth understanding.
Meaning he that lacks understanding, what?
Will think upon vain things.
And this is what Israel does. The ones who lack understanding is always thinking about bullshit and nonsense. And the reason they think on vain things is because they entertain their mind with vain things. If you want to know why you're not getting the Bible, it's because you're watching too much bullshit. You're occupying your mind with vain things, vain pursuits. There is a reason the Most High doesn't give young brothers ribs. He's trying to give brothers time to get in the book. You know what brothers do? I don't know why I ain't got ribs. I got to work harder on pursuing finding ribs. Good night. You were supposed to sit back and focus on the book while you have time when you're young. But you know what? Read that verse again.
I can't teach her up.
That's it. I gotta let her go to the world. The world's gonna take her. She loves you. You gotta wing it. Well, shit. That's the point. Read on. I don't know.
That guy's
I don't understand.
I tried.
I tried.
I'm always in class.
Yeah, I'm always in class.
that-
Get out of here.
What do you do after class?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you know.
Don't say anything.
I don't know. This is regular things that people do.
I'm tired.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're tired. Read that verse again, man. No, you're not. Stop.
God, he that wanted understanding.
If you're lacking understanding, listen. How does a person, first of all, get understanding?
I pursue it.
Yes, but
Experience.
you get understanding, you get knowledge, and you get wisdom. What's wisdom? Is the application of knowledge.
Correct.
And after you've correctly applied things in your life, then you get understanding. People that lack understanding is because they never learn how to apply wisdom. So the people that never learn how to apply wisdom, it's because they have too many vain things in their mind. So they never learn how to get past all the vain distractions so they can learn how to apply wisdom in their life. The application process is what breaks men.
Small understanding?
Do I have the mental capacity to eliminate all the distractions so I can be clear enough in the mind to execute the things I need to execute? Too many times we can't execute something from A to Z because I have too many emotions in my head. Listen, the emotions and the thoughts is what keeps a person from being consistent. How many times you tell yourself you're going to do something, and then you tell yourself that you don't want to do it today, and you keep telling yourself tomorrow, 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 tomorrow. Why is it I can't make the first determination I'm going to do something and then do it? Because I've allowed so many other things in my mind to unconvince myself that I really don't want to do it. The battle is always in your head. I want to do this, but then I got 1,000 reasons why I can't do it. And that's what keeps me from gaining wisdom, which will eventually keep me from getting understanding.
Yeah.
The person that doesn't get understanding is because they're full of vain thoughts. Thoughts that get you nowhere. Useless thoughts. Unproductive thoughts. Thoughts that don't lead to productivity. This is what all that internet chasing that we're on, all that Snapchat, all that TikTok, all that crap is useless information and useless pursuits that lead to unproductivity. That leads to thoughts and mentalities and feelings and emotions that keep us from being spiritually productive, that keep us from actually accomplishing things in the spirit, which will eventually get us to asking a question, why am I here? I'm not getting anything done. I'm not accomplishing anything. Let me go back in the world.
That was the game, though.
That was what the spirit was trying to do.
If I could just starve him out,
yep,
and kill all the nutrition in the spirit,
yep,
he will be overweighed by the matters that collect on the spirit that he can't maintain and handle because as his battle ascends through his time. That's the game, though.
That's how men break. They know blend the most, like all these negative thoughts online or being crazy online. Like, damn, bro, your experience was that bad? I understand suffering and sacrifice, but is that bad? Read again from the top.
Ecclesiastes 16 and verse 23. He that wanteth understanding will think upon vain things.
Mm-hmm.
And a foolish man erring.
He's always making a mistake. He's always making a bunch of errors out. That nigga's as sure as I make 6 errors a day out. Ball's going through his legs, throwing the ball through his head out. Yeah. You're just making errors all the time, but why are you making these damn errors? Read on.
Imagineth folly.
Because you're imagining follies. You're imagining useless information where you're going to keep making mistakes and not be productive.
Because it's in you. You imagine folly
because you chose and you fed those folly thoughts.
You fed stupid thoughts.
You fed stupid thoughts. You're online looking at stupid thoughts. You're researching stupid thoughts. You're studying stupid thoughts.
That's why you imagine folly.
Because you keep thinking about TikTok videos and dumb shit online. Your mind is more given to that than the scriptures.
It's the thoughts from a gross heart.
That's the point. And you're adding grossness to your mind, into where you become dull of hearing.
I don't know why this Bible thing's not going the way I show.
Because what people don't understand is there is a certain mental work ethic that you need for information and concepts to stick. And most of us haven't learned that work ethic for you. There is a certain amount of studying and reading and quiet around you that you need for information to penetrate. That's why I don't understand guys that's playing music and studying.
Oh yeah, I remember that back then was telling the truth.
Like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you playing nigga shit and trying to say the Bible?
I saw it, brother.
It's not gonna stick. Oh, this is how I focus.
Yeah.
No, that's how a D student focuses.
Yeah.
How about that one?
That's
maybe a C student.
That's the answer.
Yeah. C students back at a low academically accredited school accepts bullshit information like that, bullshit work like that.
Yeah.
You go to any institution of higher learning, that's bullshit. You was listening to fucking hip hop, weren't you, nigga?
Brothers playing American
Get out of
Gangster.
here. Get this guy out of here.
Brothers in the Bible playing American Gangster every day. Go to the brother's house, he's like this, and American Gangster just blasting out. And then he's like listening to his headphones and just reading the Bible with headphones in the ear, blaring American Gangster out.
Your head's bobbing like this shit.
I'm like, bro, what is he doing? I said, how are you doing? I can do it. I can do it. I said, okay, no problem, man. No problem.
These are true stories, These are true stories.
It never made sense.
But this is what happens, and we wonder why the understanding doesn't stick. Whether it's understanding the scriptures, understanding the breakdowns, or it's, do I have enough spiritual fuel and motivation to get me from one place to another?
A to B.
Whether it's knowledge on a knowledge level, or am I studying enough, and if I starved out enough of that flesh in me to motivate me to keep transcending and growing. It goes both ways. You gotta starve that flesh in you. All these avenues that feed that shit, you gotta cut it off.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're gonna fall for the same traps all the time. And that area that you don't, that you feed, that vanity, is where you're gonna be that fool.
Deficient. Yeah.
You'll be deficient, but you'll be that fool. Okay. I hope we get it, because it's right here. It's right damn here, because that foolish man erring imagines follies. But he's imagining follies. That folly becomes a very clear picture in social media, where that media and all these influences feed that folly that's already inside of you. You're going to read in the scripture how the Most High calls it a snare. All these things we tap into and we flirt with and play with, they're snares. They were created to ensnare us, to keep us, to choke the word from us, to choke the potency of the word in our lives. That's where that love of the world comes in.
Yeah.
It's all those snares and distractions that get in the way of your potency.
Like when shit really goes down, these are the things that be eliminated anyway.
But the problem is, by that time, you won't be prepared to deal with it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's we hold on to something that it just has a life expectancy. You might as well detach yourself from it.
That's the practical way of looking at it. But the reality is, if you don't do it now, all the things you don't stay on top of is going to add to your demise. You're going to have discipline. If you don't have discipline now, you're going to have discipline now in the end times? Listen, if you got to eat one meal a day, niggas going to be going crazy.
No chicken.
Listen, I'm just saying in general. Even if it's one meal, or but a meal is a handful of beans. It's a scoop of beans. Yeah. Right. You gonna handle that without raging? Raiding the pot at?
Raging. Well, that's what we were doing in Egypt, right? We still wanted the fish.
The leeks, onions, and fish.
That's today.
It's every day, because we don't feed discipline. We feed folly. We feed folly and wonder why we're inconsistent and we're unstable. Let's go another verse. Let us go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9, verse 14 through 16.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9, verse 14.
Let me get it real quick. Yep, 9 verse 14.
For the thoughts of mortal men are miserable.
The thoughts of mortal men are miserable. They always lead down a destructive path. Our thoughts always lead to depression, sadness, anxiety, self-hatred, self-loathing. Our mind always goes down to that path. And the reason it goes into self-loathing and self-hatred, because we end up sinning, we end up making mistakes. And when you sit back and sin and make mistakes, you're gonna end up having that jacked up rock bottom feel. That self-hatred. And you gotta build yourself back up every few weeks or months from hating yourself and being rock bottom because you feel bad because you sinned.
Have a spiritual crashes, huh?
And that happens all the time. And you sit back, you hit rock bottom, you feel like shit, and then I gotta reinvest into the Bible again. You always kill your spiritual momentum through sin and inconsistency. Read on.
For the thoughts of mortal men are miserable, and our devices are but uncertain.
Our devices, our methods, our methodologies are, he says, our methods are but uncertain. There's no guarantee that how we look at things is the right way to look at things. More times than not, our devices are janky, are flawed at best. Janky ass outlooks, janky ass ways of handling our weaknesses, janky ways of staying on top of our spirit. And we wonder why the Most High isn't with us and doesn't honor our life. Read on.
Verse 15. For the corruptible body presses down the soul.
And there you go. That flesh is always pressing down on your spirit. It's always warring against the spirit. It's always trying to find angles to feed it. Which means the way we have to be wired, because our devices are always looking to feed the flesh, we have to be more razor sensitive to not feeding those impulses. But the problem is the way society has evolved is it's a lot easier to find sin. It's a lot easier to feed the flesh now than it used to be. You're one button away from being into some negative. You're one online surfing into tapping into some sin. You don't got to leave your house to be into some negative.
And you know they say that children are dealing with. See, it's affecting adults, but the problem is giving the babies it's wiring their brains to have an unrealistic perspective of the world.
Yes.
Because the world around us is not a world of constant stimulation and constant gratification.
Yeah.
That's not a real world.
You know what scares me when I see little kids on computers all day. That shit scares the shit out of me. When babies are sitting back here, they're on them little tablets out.
Destroying.
You got these kids on tablets all damn day long out, and you expect because mama don't want to get off her ass and read books to them and shit out.
Yeah.
Just throw a tablet at them and wonder why they're just like zombies watching cartoons all damn day long.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And wonder why they don't that doesn't translate to reading and learning and understanding. And they can sit back here, they can push buttons and shit on a damn laptop, but they can't spell cat. I've seen a lot of kids, and even in Israel, doing that shit out. You take that laptop, they going crazy out. You get them to read books. Yeah, they don't even talk words. Yeah, I'm serious. Kids don't talk no words, but they are watching cartoons and watching all this talking, but they have no people skills, no communication skills. Real things. Don't play with toys. I want my goddamn tablet. Get out of here, mama. And my juice box.
Now.
Juice box and tablets out. And mumble talk. No real words are spoken until 7 years old. I'm like, damn, no talking. I'm
want tablet.
Hey, Kaputa. Like, can you enunciate this shit, my guy? Anyway, I'm not even lying about that. I've seen some real like neglected, deficient kids because of that damn tablet and parents' laziness. And they're lazy use of the tablet. Anyway, where are we at? Talking about
50.
tablets and wicked parents and that.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 9 verse 15.
It goes in the story though.
It does. It does. Keep going on.
For the corruptible body presses down the soul, and the earthly tabernacle weighs down the mind.
The earthly tabernacle weighs down the mind.
But
how does the mind get worn down? How does the flesh wear down on the mind. What you gonna say?
No, this is the problem. We've trained ourselves to be stimulated by the fuel of the flesh versus training ourselves to be stimulated by the fuel of the spirit. We always talked about it back in the day. Going into when you're doing workouts, brother was like, listen, man, you need to work out. You need to use the spirit to push you.
Yes.
You need the spirit to push you. At the malls, it was, listen, bro, back then there used to be no coffee.
Yep. Remember that?
After a while, like, if we gonna be broke, you better get some coffee. Brother. Go to Starbucks is right there.
These brothers wouldn't fight the right way.
You gonna find out go to Starbucks is right there.
Did you tell us don't?
That's a carnal counsel, but listen, niggas, we're not gonna survive.
Those will not be made.
He's not tapping the spirit.
He's right.
Babies ain't gonna eat out because you ain't gonna tap the spirit out. Go get some coffee out. Right? That's what has to happen after a while. After a period of time, cool out. But it doesn't suffice the fact you didn't train your mind to use the spirit to stimulate you to go forward. Versus the flesh. I mean, I used to do it with cookies. I'm like, I'm gonna fight and I'm fucking get a cookie.
No coffee. I will get these sugar cookies.
And the cookie was
I will get these sugar cookies.
The carnal reward out for spiritual battle. I'm like, bro.
This is what Israel does, right? Anyway, what are we trying to say is the battle that all of us have is that flesh presses down on the body. But the way the flesh presses on the body is based on how the mind is attacked. Read that again.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9, verse 15. For the corruptible body presses down the soul, and the earthly tabernacle weighs down the mind.
The earthly tabernacle, the body weighs down on the mind, but the earthly tabernacle can only weigh down on the mind if it does what?
That museth upon many things.
We think on too much crap.
That's crazy.
We think about too much crap, and that's how the flesh gets bombarded. The key to stand on top of the flesh and controlling the flesh is based upon what you entertain mentally.
Yeah, say it again.
What you bring into your mind. It's telling you the same thing. The earthly tabernacle doesn't weigh on you as much based on what you're entertaining in your mind. What are you thinking on? What do you feed your mind? What are you using to stimulate your mind? What gets you going every day? What are you using? What enters into your mind on a daily basis? What kind of music are you listening to? Have you noticed that the music you listen to changes your personality? Changes how you operate? You listen to R&B all the damn time, what's going to happen? You're going to be in some lust shit, huh?
Some soft lust.
You said what?
Some soft
lust. It's soft lust. I'm listening to fucking Slipknot and all kind of rock shit. Guess what? I'm going to be a little violent, don't you think? There's going to be a little violent popping off of you, huh? Sure. Disorder! I'm going to be going crazy, huh? You're going to be acting with some goddamn disorder, huh? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, huh? You're not going to be in the clear mind if you're sitting like you're driving with like, what's going on, huh? And if you listen to the goddamn dog pound all damn day long, there's a problem there too, huh?
I just want to smoke.
DPG, huh? It's a problem, huh?
I think about smoking.
Your outlook is not going to be pure, huh? 3 songs, I'm done, huh? Listen to damn West Coast shit, huh? Come on, huh? Dre? Come on, the Chronic, you're done, huh? 3 songs, 4 songs out, your mind is gone, huh? You can forget it, huh? And we're listening to this crap all the time. We're watching the wrong shows. We're being entertained by this negative, and we're desensitized to how bad is making our battles. We're inflaming this negative in us. Those phones are demons. Because we feed the wrong things. We wonder why all of a sudden the lust is going to be strong today. I want to punch somebody in the face today. Why? Maybe I'm listening to some punching in the face music. Maybe I'm feeding things that make me want to hit people.
But brothers get counsels about these things, but nobody listens.
I know.
And then the imagining.
And then now we got the axle tree going on.
The imagining of follies pops up.
There we go. And then we got the axle tree. The cartwheel. We're doing the same. We're making the same mistakes over and over and over again. But we're fueling it. We're fueling the folly. We're fueling the thoughts.
Folly.
We're fueling the inconsistencies. Once again, he's trying to show us if I want to make my spiritual battle more controllable, what am I willing to cut off of my life? What are the entertaining factors I got to get rid of in my life?
I said I love Jesus, son. I love Jesus enough to cut off.
There's got to be some entertainment that you let go. Or just keep lying to yourself and playing Israel, playing spiritual, being a fake ass Israelite.
Yeah,
because that's what it is. Are you going to be about change or not? Everybody, I don't understand why the Most High got me in this position. Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Listen to these classes, and you'll figure it out. It's not very hard.
It's not complicated.
If you listen to classes, you'll know where you're at in the spirit. It's not rocket science, huh? Our patterns don't change because we choose not to change it, because we choose not to abstain from things that are harmful to us.
That produce the pattern.
God.
That's the big mystery.
It's one thing to kill the thought today, but the problem is we don't kill the source that keeps bringing thoughts to us. That's why we keep having thoughts. I studied. Well, you sat back here, you detoxed today, but you put more drugs in your system 5 hours later.
Or you kept leaving dirty dishes in the sink, and you wonder why you got roaches.
Con.
I don't know why these roaches are here.
Bro, you listen. Okay, you detox for the moment. You study for the moment. That means you clear those thoughts out. But you sit back here and you feed those negative thoughts the next day or within hours, and you wonder why there's a problem. It's very simple.
Simplicity in Christ, man.
God. It talks about it in Galatians. I think it's 2:18 where it says no, it's actually in the Apocrypha about what good is being cleansed and then you go touch a dead body right afterwards. What are you doing? That's what we do.
That's scripture's crazy. What it says, full imagine follows up.
Yeah, and 16 one, crazy. 16 and 23.
You know what's so crazy about that imagine follies? Mm-hmm. I make an excuse for my folly.
Come on.
I gotta do it.
Bro, let's keep going, man. We'll sit back here and so listen, verse 16. But we're constantly musing on many things, and that's what weighs down the flesh. Is what you think upon and what you feed. The sources you get these thoughts on.
I'm overloading my flesh.
I'm overloading my mind. We understand overloading the body when it comes to food. We're overloading stimuli negative in our mind and wonder why we can't control this negative in us.
High traffic.
I'm not getting anywhere. I'm trying to get somewhere, huh?
Okay. And that's just yabba talk, guys. Okay. Let's keep reading verse 16. Yeah. I really care. I really care. But read on.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 9 verse 16. And hardly do we guess aright at things that are upon the earth.
And that's what you said, Nagaha, about how hardly do we guess what we really need to get rid of and what we need to hold on to. What we tell ourselves is we can handle, we really can't handle.
I remember you telling me
the stimuli that we tell ourselves we can get on top of, we really can't stay on top of it. It really destroys us and breaks us down. What you gonna say?
I remember you telling me back in not too long ago. You said
let's say back in the day. Back in the day.
No, you said listen, bro, you gotta stop. You gotta start cutting that content out.
Yeah.
Because that content is creating this ultra skeptical perspective.
We talked about it.
And I'm like, bro, listen, bro, this affects me pretty.
This relaxes me, and it relaxes me.
It's good to watch. It's great to watch.
It's the thing.
But for what I need in my life, this content is building the spirit of skepticism. Is enhancing the spirit of extreme skepticism. You need to kind of not subscribe. Stop. You need to unsubscribe, bro.
Yes.
And I'm like,
and it's not detox. It's detox, but I'm gonna get back on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get rid of it and get back on it again. No, that means I gotta kill it. I gotta let it go.
I started unsubscribing from like 75%, and my that skepticism started going away.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, man, there's nothing to do. You know.
It's the point that this is the demon.
To do I might as well. Listen,
It's nothing to do.
I gotta be aware of what's going on.
You gotta know in the streets.
Imagine.
You don't need to know what's going on. You don't need to.
I can't be out here blind, huh? Bro, you can't be out here
That's
blind.
the hook. That's the hook.
We create.
I gotta know what's going on in this world. That was pure Satan brilliance right there.
That we create the need to go back to the Father. We create the need.
I know that. And I talked about earlier about how things get, when things are in order, it's quiet.
Yeah.
And we're not used to quiet.
Yeah.
Quiet and peace makes us get crazy. It's almost like our minds look for chaos.
Yeah.
We need drama around us. Right? Without drama, life is boring. But with drama, you can't stay connected spiritually. So our nature is wired to go against the spirit. You only get understanding from quiet and peace. You need the quiet and peace, and in the routine, and the safety, and the routine, and the consistency. But we always break it for something fun and adventurous, and stimulating, and that's what breaks us. If we want to connect to the Most High, we got to cut those arenas that bring that air quote spikes in your life, that energy.
Yeah.
That's what starts to break you down. Anyway,
The truth.
or being a hamster wheel guy, or hamster wheel system.
I mean, the truth.
And this burns another 15 yards. If y'all got 15 years to burn, more power to you. It's getting old, man. Mistake Town, Mistake Central.
Mistake Town. It's a bad place to be at.
Inconsistencyville.
Yeah.
Erratica.
Yeah, Erratica.
I'm just erratic as hell out. One day I'm this way, the other day I'm another way out. Bro, I'm just saying. Let's continue.
Verse 16. And hardly do we guess aright at the things that are upon the earth, and with labor do we find the things that are before us.
You know what it says? With labor do we find the things that are before us. You know what the labor is? Eliminate those distractions, huh? It's hard work to break yourself. It's hard work to look for those things that weaken you and just cut it off.
Real labor. It's real labor.
It's real labor to sit back and focus. Brother, you know what scripture says? Study to be what?
Quiet.
It's real labor to study to be quiet. To be quiet in yourself. It's not just keeping your mouth shut. To be at peace in yourself. Yes, sir?
I remember I deleted Facebook. Something told me I needed. Something just kept. You need to connect to the people that may just want to just get a hold of you for some reason.
They want the knowledge.
You ain't getting no.
You get that BS spiritual thing, but they want the knowledge. They need you to teach them. Okay.
Yeah. Or I need to keep it because somebody's gonna just reach out, but I ain't getting no messages. No messages. But
you're people watching. What's going on with this person? That ends up happening, and all of a sudden it just takes your mind different places.
That shit's hard. I ain't lying.
It's hard. I know it. None of this shit's easy.
We're building like this.
Or we sit back here and keep being in this cycle of dysfunction and wonder why we can't break habits. Because it's not just the thoughts we have; it's the thoughts that we feed, and we're just constantly manufacturing thoughts that build on top of a weakness that we can't stop. Anyway, bro. We done with verse 6? Keep going to verse 16.
And with labor do we find the things that are before us, but things that are in heaven, who has searched out?
Kinda. So let that verse go and go to 1 Corinthians 13. Verse 11 and 12.
1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11.
1 second. 1 Corinthians 13 and 11. Yes, let's read that.
1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things.
But a lot of us don't put away those childish things, huh? A lot of us don't flee those youthful lusts. There's another verse in Timothy that talks about that. Fleeing youthful lust.
Yeah.
What we're supposed to in our older age, get rid of those childish thinking, the youthful lust. But I'll tell you what, the same negative thoughts we had in our youth, we still hold on to now. There's supposed to be maturity in us to where we're able to get a hold and stay on top of our spirit now. But in certain arenas, we just haven't grasped it. None of the things we have. I'm not going to say we haven't overcome anything in our spirit. But we're supposed to take class and focus on things that we haven't got on top of. And there's certain aspects in our life that we're still operating in a very childish manner. And then wonder why we feel unfulfilled and unhappy. We have to get on top of these childish processes that we have. Or we're going to keep failing.
12?
I was going to do that. No, we'll let that go. Let's go to 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians. I want to do this now. Damn it. It's almost 10:20. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. 2 Corinthians 11 and 3.
2 Corinthians 11, verse 3. But I fear, lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through subtlety, so your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Christ.
Listen, we can't be corrupted from the fact that Christ is simple. And there is a simplicity in Christ. Now, this simplicity is not talking about weakness of intellect. This is a different form of simplicity. Let's go back into that 1828 to get the other definitions of simplicity. Let's do it. Simplicity number 1 and simplicity I'm going to say 1 through 3. Simplicity 1 through 3.
Simplicity. Singleness.
Listen, there's supposed to be a singleness in Christ. We're operating under Christ. There is a singleness of mind.
Yeah, you're right.
In Christ. If we're tapped into Christ, the only thing that matters is Christ. The only thing that we're feeding is Christ.
He made
the
it simple.
mindset that we have is Christ. That's the simplicity. Singleness of mind, singleness of heart, singleness of intention is where it should be. The problem with our minds is that we're duplicitous.
Yeah.
We have a lot of different intentions and motivations and desires, and that's what weakens and stifles the Word. That's what weakens and stifles Christ in us. Is all the duplicitness in us. All the different motivations and desires that are flowing through us while trying to pursue Christ. Read on.
The state of being unmixed or uncompounded.
He says singleness is the state of being unmixed and uncompounded. What did I say? Okay, yeah, simplicity is the state of being unmixed and uncompounded. What does that mean?
It's crazy.
Listen, singleness of heart or simplicity is me being operating with simplicity in Christ is, you know what, I'm not being mixed with a lot of different things. My mind isn't mixed with a lot of weakness, a lot of sin, a lot of lust. It's pure.
Uncompounded. I'm not
compounding different mindsets and intentions and influences. It's single, it's clear, it's pure.
It's order.
It's order. There's not a lot of things competing with Christ for the attention of Christ. That's what the simplicity of Christ is. It's not just a simple breakdown. That's not what it means by simplicity. It's as simple, it's as easy. No, the simplicity is in there's not a lot of things competing for the attention. In our mind, we have too many things competing for the attention of the Most High. This is what Moses said. He was a jealous power. Which meant what? I want your attention on me all the time. Stop giving me 25% and giving your lust 50% and then giving everything else 25%. He wants our whole mind on him, fixated on him. That's why Joshua said in Joshua 1 and 8, meditating on the Most High day and night. That's the kind of mindset he's looking for. That is simplicity of mind and heart. It's not compounded. There's not a lot of desires competing with the desire to please him. That's what simplicity in Christ is. Give me the next definition.
God. Definition 2. The state of being not complex, or of consisting of few parts.
There's few parts. Israel is so Israel is so full of a bunch of different components and parts in our mind.
That's why
We think being complex and deep is something important. No, simple. We're supposed to be simple machines, wired simple. So I'm sitting back here trying to be all deep and have all these different levels and dimensions to your spirit. And stop all that crap. Can your intention be clear and pure and uncomplicated? And can we make our life uncomplicated?
That's really how women operate.
Good.
Women are, I don't know if it's their biology or whatever, but they're ultra complicated, and men reflect that same spirit.
Well, the problem is now men is ultra complicated now.
Yeah, and now it's hard. It's hard for anybody to clear it.
That's the point. Because
it's not the hormones. It's not the hormones.
It's so much crap around here that pulls our attention, and we lose the ability to be potent. This is what simplicity is. Can we sit back here and not have a lot of components and parts needed to operate for him? Does that make sense?
Come.
Okay, give me more.
Come.
As the simplicity of a machine. He wants us to operate as a clear machine that doesn't need a bunch of parts. Can we just be a basic widget app that has 2 or 3 components in it to do its job for him?
Get the job done.
Stop having because we have all these complicated machines. You have to do so much crap to keep it tuned and operating properly.
Like computer.
Stop being deep and complex.
Yeah.
And you know what that means? You have to trim the fat. Let go of all these extra components in your spirit so you can be efficient for him. Give me more. Give me number 3.
That's the answer, bro.
3. Alertness.
Artlessness
of mind.
Stop being all different and complex and deep and shit. Artlessness of mind. Can we just be black and white? Can your yay be yay and your nay be nay? Can you be the same guy every day? Can you be a consistent individual versus being all abstract? When I think of artlessness, I'm not this damn Van Gogh. I'm not out here looking like Picasso and Salvador da Gama and that guy with the weird ass clock that's melting. Yeah, Dolly. Listen, can we just sit back here and can I paint a goddamn picture of a house? I can get all abstract and weird with it. I don't need that abstractness. Just be clear. Be easy for me to read out. Be the same guy every day. Stop bringing all this extra flair into your life, extra distraction in your life. Be somebody I can depend on.
Ooh, that's like like David being the sheep herder.
Being a who?
The sheep herder.
It's simplicity of life.
He kept choosing, despite the warrior caliber of his brothers, he chose the simple sheep herder.
Or he was just put to that job and he accepted it, and he was great at it.
Moses too.
Can we just be simple in our execution, in our responsibility, and in our mind? Artlessness of mind. Read on.
Come. Freedom from a propensity to cunning or strategy.
It says freedom. I don't have this part in my mind where I'm trying to get too deep. I'm over analytical, because that's what that propensity to stratagem is. I want to sit back here and connive a way to make things go my way, or I have to sit back here and I have all this deep thinking. Stop all that deep thinking and just do your damn job. Stop being overly deep and just obey. Obedience is better than sacrifice. All that extra thinking, man, just meditate on my laws. Meditate on my commandments. For those of us getting the book, stop reading all these goddamn books. Why be a book collector when I don't know the Bible? Stop getting all cunning with this. Do you know the book, and can you teach the book? Then once you can teach the book, then add books to yours. I just start reading all these extra books till I learn the Bible. Learn the Bible, then be the smart guy. And then when you learn to be the smart guy, you realize being a smart guy is a waste of damn time. Because 95% of people don't understand the smart guy. How about that one? And if you're about being a teacher, you'll realize it's not about being a smart guy. It's about taking information and making it simple for people to understand. The Most High is telling you the type of men He wants us to be. Simple, consistent in the mind, not overly complicated, not overly cunning. Eliminate all these distractions so you can perform and be consistent. I don't need a bunch of components. The more components that's inside of you, the more likely things are to break down. It's harder to maintenance. It's harder to stay on top.
It drains energy too.
And it's exhausting.
It's complete exhaustion.
Trying to sit back and stay on top of all these different mechanisms of yourself.
Exhaustion on pointless affairs.
God.
That's the problem. The affairs, pointless matters, and then we get the Most High this much energy.
God. I'm gonna let that go. We got that, right? Yeah. That's what simplicity is. Matter of fact, that's fine. But it's really dealing with being mentally unclogged. That's really what this is. Matter of fact, no. We need verse 3 against this.
2 Corinthians 11, verse 3.
No. I'm talking about definition 3, not verse 3.
God. Simplicity. Artlessness of mind. Freedom from a propensity to cunning or stratagem. Freedom from duplicity.
Freedom from duplicity. Wow. I can't be duplicit. I can't have multiple intentions. Wow. Multiple things pulling my focus and my energy and my zeal. That's the simplicity that's in Christ. It's not about just being simple and dull. It's about the only thing that matters is Christ and His Word. I don't have anything pulling my attention, pulling my desire and effort, but Christ's Word. There's no duplicity in us. There's not a bunch of things, distractions that I've clogged in my life to make life hard. It's hard to serve Christ when I got a lot of crap going on, a lot of pulls and flesh and lust and emotion. You can't do this work with all that crap in you.
It's impossible, bro.
It is impossible. Read on.
God. Sincerity.
But I show my sincerity by eliminating my duplicity.
Because it shows what you really
That's
want.
the point.
That's the crazy
because listen, Ezra tells you that wicked heart's in all of us.
Yeah.
But I show sincerity by eliminating my duplicity.
That shows you really care.
That's the point.
It's like a rib getting rid of all those
niggas that she was talking to, all her friends.
If they can't do that, I don't believe you.
Thank you. You ain't got no guy friends no more. That's just over. Why is niggas saying hey? Right. What's that mean, man? What's that for? Well, get that shit off.
You're my best friend.
I don't give a shit.
I don't care who your best friend is.
I don't even give a shit. Yeah. Listen, that's what Gator comes out at. Point is that all I'm saying is if you can't eliminate the duplicity, then you're not really sincere. We can understand that with man and woman. But for Christ, if there is simplicity in Christ, if I don't eliminate that duplicity in myself, if I don't eliminate that grossness in my head, where my ears are dumb, then how am I operating with some simplicity in Christ? If I can't eliminate what's making me duplicit, then I'm not really sincere in serving. If I can't unclog my mind and my thoughts, then I'm not sincere in serving. It's that simple, but it's hard. It's simple, it's clear, the message is clear, but we know we have work to do. If there's things that's clogging, that means there's things competing for that simplicity. There's too many parts in this engine. I gotta gut out this janky ass motor and streamline it. You ever see those race car movies? It's how do we get this car to drive at optimal speed? We don't have to sit back and make a lineup. We got to sit back and take this off and use different alloys in the engine to make it streamlined. What do I got to shave off on this chassis? I don't even know what the hell chassis is. It sounds awesome. The point is this. It's the same thing with our relationship with the Most High. What do I got to shave off in me to make me more streamlined and singular and focused to my Creator? This is the challenge that we all face. I know everybody's tired. It's getting late, man. Let's read one more verse. We're going to shut it down. Wisdom of Solomon, 1:1.
It's crazy, bro.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 1
We're
reads.
still in with that simplicity, right?
Yeah.
Read on.
Love righteousness, ye that be judges of the earth.
If you're going to love righteous, you got to love righteous if you eventually want to lead your people. Read on.
Think of the Lord with a good heart,
Mm-hmm.
and in simplicity of heart seek Him.
Now we understand what that simplicity is. We got to seek the Most High by eliminating distractions.
All extraneous matter.
All that stuff that clogs your mind, all that lust, all that pride, all that emotion that gets in the way of your relationship with Christ. You got to get rid of it.
All the music.
That's what simplicity means. Simplicity is you can't create something simple unless you eliminate all the extra. You have to eliminate the extra if you want the simple. In simplicity of mind, seek Him.
And He's giving us the instructions on how to get to Him.
No.
He's breadcrumbing us.
You have to eliminate all these pulls from you in order to properly seek Him, so you can understand Him and get the clarity, so you can make the real changes to get even closer to Him.
The word don't penetrate.
The words don't penetrate. The message doesn't penetrate if you have a lot of things clogging your mind and your spirit. The answer is right there. I hope that
we can stay with a car until we put gas in our car. The car got gunk in our engine, and like the engine ain't functioning properly.
God.
And they say flush the engine. We
God.
all know that.
God.
But in the spirit, we just say, don't.
God.
That's not how it goes.
Well, it says
That makes
freedom
sense.
from duplicity.
That's crazy.
It says it says in simplicity of heart, seek Him. Freedom from duplicity, freedom from all these distractions, freedom from these lusts that keep pulling your focus and your singleness of mind from Him.
Unnecessary elements.
And exactly. I think we're gonna leave it at that, man.
That's crazy, bro.
Or any
we might
questions?
need part 2 of this class.
Oh, we might get to 3, but at least 2. All right, Tawada for tuning in, and Shams want to have class on Wednesday, and Dawi out on Friday, and we'll see you guys later. Tawada for tuning in. Shalom.
Shalom.